Good evening and welcome to NUFC Matters and a happy new season to everybody. Happy new season, John. Happy new season, Malcolm.
Thank you so much, Steve, and all the very best to you as well. I hope you enjoy it.
Let's hope it is happy, fellas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's what we want, lads. Newcastle United, obviously away to West Ham today. Of course, no supporters in the stadium, so everybody in the same boat. Everybody sat in front of televisions or radios and listening to it or watching it. And there's always a sense of anticipation, isn't there, when there's a start of a new season, John?
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. I mean, a week or just over a week ago, I had a sense of apprehension. But with the 3 signings that just took place towards the death there, I'm not getting carried away. I'm not being stupid, but there is a reason for hope. And I think we've got the right opposition for the first game, without a shadow of doubt. Ooh, that's interesting.
So here we go, Malcolm and John. Here's the opening lineup of the new season. We have Darlow in goal. We have Manquillo, Fernandez and Lascelles and Lewis, obviously forming a back 4 there. We've got Shelvey, Hendrick, Hayden, St. Maximin, Carroll and Wilson. And subs tonight are Gillespie, obviously the goalkeeper, Joe Linton, Ritchie, Kraft, Fraser, Almiron and Sean Longstaff. So, interesting because last night's show, we all had a go at picking the team. And I think more or less, that is the team that was picked up by most of us. I think Shelvey and Hendrick and Hayden was the one where we all struggled. Some people were saying maybe Longstaff should have played. But go on then, Malcolm. What's your thoughts with that opening lineup? And I've got to say, I have said last night, I'm going to start with a clean sheet for everybody. That does include Joe Linton and Steve Bruce. So it's a clean sheet for them going into the new season from me. So what's your take on that, lads? Go you first, Malcolm.
Well, it's obviously a very straightforward 4-4-2. And so for once, we're actually playing 2 out-and-out forwards, Carroll and Wilson. And they can put themselves about, both of them. So it's going to be rather interesting with those 2 up front. And I just have that question mark still about Hayden. There are lots of people I know who rate him, who like him. I'm afraid I don't. I find him a very negative player and hardly ever looks forward. And Shelvey needs a very specific type of player with him to get the best out of Shelvey. We want him looking forward, going forward, more than sitting back, and he can easily drop back into the centre halves. So I hope he's not going to start doing that. Well, I'm going to be very interested just to see how these guys set off down in London today. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, let's go with your views on this, John. What do you make of that starting lineup?
Very, very interesting starting lineup. It'll be fascinating to see us play 2 in-your-face strikers in Wilson and Carroll. We all know why Carroll's in, because apart from his physicality, it's West Ham, and they will be very concerned that he's going to come back and haunt them. I mean, Fraser, we knew wouldn't start because he's nowhere near match fit. Almiron missing out is a bit of a surprise. I mean, him and Maximum last season were the 2 front guys that we pinned so much on with their pace, etc. I'm going to find it interesting to see how Shelvey, Hendrick and Hayden work. You've got to think that Hendrick is going to work wide on one side with Maximum on the other, and Shelvey and Hendrick are going to be the 2 centre midfields ones. It's interesting. It's fascinating. it's a gamble on the front two, putting Carroll in with Wilson, but it's a gamble worth taking. And maybe I'm a little bit surprised that it's Shelby, Hendrick, and Hayden getting in, as opposed to just two of them, and Almiron being used out wide.
Yeah, it's for me. I've got to be honest, lads. I'm fairly confident with that lineup. I'm pleased to see Carroll in. I had a suspicion he would do after his form in the pre-season. Plus, he's going to his old club. But Wilson had to start. I mean, he's the man who they're expecting to get the goals. Joe Linton's on the bench. I don't think he could have expected anything else, especially with him having not much of a pre-season. I think the back four, Manquillo's your best right back. I think Fernandez and Lascelles in the centre is the pairing that most people would go for under Steve Bruce. Lewis, obviously, again, a new signing. You would feel he has to go in. Shelby, I think I made the point last night that he had a blinder at West Ham last year. He was the difference really between the two teams. And if the right Shelby turns up, then West Ham have got problems, and I am quite confident about that. When I look at the bench, you think, well, have we got options there? That's my only concern. Up front, if it does go wrong, I suppose you could bring Matt Almiron on, but Joe Linton, unless if it's a Joe Linton of last season, he's not going to put any frighteners up the West Ham's back four. But, you look at the rest, you think, Richie, you've got a bit of work rate there. I know we're not huge fans of Kraft, although the back end of last season he did okay. Fraser, as we know, struggling for fitness. But, and Sean Longstaff, of course, could, I suppose, if there was a change in formation, which is something Bruce struggled with last season, could play that number 10 role, Malcolm, which we saw him play so well last season.
Yes, absolutely. Nothing to say that he couldn't, and he'd do it well. He's got a great attitude. Both of the Longstaff brothers have wonderful attitudes.
I think the bench isn't bad. The bench isn't bad under the circumstances.
It's covering it all, isn't it, John?
Yeah, we know Fraser's going to be a regular eventually. Almiron has been one of the pluses last season. Longstaff can play 10. Richie will give you an awful lot of endeavour and passion. I'm very optimistic about Newcastle in this game. If there has to be anything you look at and wonder about, it would be the defence. We haven't got other centre-halves. We had to go with Lascelles and Fernandez, although they can do a job. We've had to go with them because the other guys are injured. But if I look at the back four, taking Lewis out of it, because he's new, and Darlow in goal, you would think if there's anything that will give you a tad concern, it's that. But going forward, I'm pretty confident. And I think, Callum Wilson has got the finger on West Ham. He scores against West Ham regularly. And they're going, when they get that team sheet and they see Carroll, who can batter people, coming back to his old stamping ground, and they know he'll want to cause mayhem, and they look at Wilson, who scores against West Ham all the time, they'll be terrified before they come out.
Yeah, you can imagine, can't you, when they saw the Newcastle team sheet in the West Ham dressing room. You mark Carroll. No. You mark Carroll. No. They'd all be swapping him over, wouldn't they, to each other?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Who would be happy in the West Ham side to pick Carroll up? Because you're right, John. He batters people. I'm not saying in a fouling them, but it's
physically.
It's as you come together. He is absolutely hard as nails, isn't he? I wouldn't think that the back line are looking forward to the Newcastle front line that's facing them. And when was the last time you could say that the Newcastle front line was scaring a back four?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Go on, John. Go on. Go for it.
What's interesting as well, guys, is that, both these clubs just fought off relegation at the end of last season. Newcastle have responded to that with 5 signings, the 3 plus Hendrick and the goalkeeper Gillespie. We've had 5 signings. West Ham haven't pulled off a signing at all. And I think their fans are on a bit of a downer. Our fans are on a bit of an up situation. If we can get off to a fast start and get in amongst them early doors, they can be on the back foot. I think it is a good start for Newcastle if they've got to play away. They've got the right opposition with West Ham. And I would...
Sure. And John, West Ham are in a bit of turmoil, aren't they? I understand that their captain, Mark Noble, he had a clear the air talks with the board earlier this week. That's not what you want just as the season's starting, is it? So there's obviously a lot of unrest in the dressing room and at the training ground.
I mean, another interesting thing, guys, I feel, we're concentrating greatly, and I understand that, on Wilson, on Lewis, and on what Fraser might do coming off the bench. But who we haven't mentioned is San Maximum. If he can produce the sort of form as he did it last season, his debut season, when he was by far Newcastle's most exciting player, if he can pick up on that again and play like that, that's a huge plus to go with Wilson, to go with Lewis bombing down the left side, and to fit in with Fraser when he's good and ready. I mean, St. Maximum has still got a major part to play in the way Newcastle might go this season.
Yes, absolutely, John. And also that when the season ends, what you tend to find, particularly with younger players, and I take St. Maximin as a young player, that all the sort of tumblers and marbles all sort of fall into place, and and when they've got real genuine talent, they usually come back for the following season better players, that they're more experienced, they know what they need to do, what's expected of them. And so I just have the feeling that he really could be a star man of the Premier League this season.
I tell you who could be stars of the Premier League, and that's Leeds United. 6 minutes left at Anfield and still 3-3. Liverpool 3, Leeds 3. Absolutely fantastic game. I know you lads have been watching it as well, and I know it's always exciting. Those two teams both had the best clean sheet records in the top 2 divisions last season, and they've opened with a right humdinger. I'll keep everybody up to date with that scoreline as it progresses. And just to remind everybody, we're on all night tonight. Malcolm and Gibbo will be leaving within the next 10 minutes. Gibbo's got to go and do his prep, and we're just going to have separate different fans on throughout the night. A lot of people who have asked if they can jump on, and I know some people are relying on this stream to be able to keep in touch with the score because they haven't got radio or TV. So we're more than happy to do that tonight and get your opinions in on the starting 11. That will be great. I've got to ask you, lads. John, I'll come to you because I know you've only got about 7 or 8 minutes left. The fallout from the takeover since we last spoke on Wednesday has been nothing short of comical, hasn't it? Really, I mean, we've seen the blame put on the Premier League essentially by Mike Ashley with a well concocted statement coming from the club, and then we've seen a denial from the Premier League saying don't blame Richard Masters. It's a collective decision, but we haven't rejected it. So we're still we haven't moved forward, we haven't moved backwards. We've actually stood still, but there's been a hell of a lot of noise.
Right, but what they also said, which I thought was really key to all of this, was that they had asked questions of the purchasers of Newcastle United and they didn't get full answers. It wasn't comprehensive enough, and that's why it took so long, I presume, because it was...
Here's our understanding of it, Malcolm. Here's our understanding of it. We spoke to different contacts that we've got on both sides over the last 48 hours. We believe that the owners and directors test hasn't been an issue. We believe that what's happened is there's been further further questions asked. And that's been the issue. We imagine that is what everyone's been talking about for weeks, which is they've wanted, I think, the Saudi state to more or less say that they're running the club when it's quite clear that they're not. It's PCP and, you know, the Rubens and PIF who are coming in to buy the club. That seems to be the issue, the impasse that they can't get past. But I still say, and I said it when we were on air the other night, Mike Ashley seems intent on getting this deal done. And I think I've said to you guys before, I wouldn't be surprised, John, if he hasn't done a deal with the Saudis to get his brands out in Saudi Arabia off the back of this deal. And he wants his money for the club, but I bet he's got a little side deal going with the Saudis and getting his gig on the high street.
You're not suggesting this guy's Del Boy by any chance, Steve, are you?
I tell you what, I wish I was a penny behind him.
So
John, he has a helicopter, not a little three-wheeler, painted yellow.
I tell you what's interesting, though, fellas, and I am passionate, and everybody that's listened to NUFC Matters when we three have been on together, I'm very, very passionate to get the takeover to happen, etc., etc. But you know something, fellas? I'm even more passionate right now to be able to start watching football and to be able to forget about this complex game of politics that's going on elsewhere between the Premier League and Newcastle United in the shape of Ashley and the Saudis. I'm saying, please let that happen. But for right now, let's forget about that. Let's concentrate on Callum Wilson. Let's concentrate on 3 points against West Ham. Let's concentrate on going down to Del Boy land and doing them and coming back with 3 points. This is football back again. Football's what this game's about. Let's get on with the game. Let's enjoy it and let Newcastle win.
And so far, we've seen 3 games today. What's the opinion of you guys on the standards and quality that you've seen?
Go on, John. You give your answer.
That's a good question. I mean, in the end, Arsenal won convincingly against Fulham. Yeah. I think Fulham will struggle this season. I thought Leeds would do okay this season and stay up relatively comfortable, but to go to the home of the champions and play the way they have and play without fear is absolutely terrific. And, you know, it's been a big club that's been sleeping for a long time. But, you know, that's the sort of sound that we say about Newcastle, a big club that's been sleeping a long time. May we wake up and get on with it.
Yeah, I just wonder, when was the last time Liverpool conceded 3 at home?
Oh,
sure,
I mean,
somebody can while we're chatting away here, can give us the information in the next couple of minutes.
I tell you what, did they not play Chelsea at the last game, one of the last games of last season, and go and win 5-3?
There's a good point. There's a good point. When did West Ham last concede 3 at home? Oh, they did against Newcastle towards the end of last season. Yeah. May they have another 3 in the onion bag tonight, fellas?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I don't think that Newcastle are a side that has fear about playing away from home. Their away record was perhaps as good as it was at home, if not better at times.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the games today, I've watched them all. Southampton looked like the Southampton who started last season again. You know, they looked. Yeah. They didn't look great. It's got to be perfectly honest. And you know, Crystal Palace, they'll be down there. That's our benchmark. I think that's, you know, you expect them to be in the bottom half of the table, competing for the first 40 points to stay up. After that, you know, this Leeds Liverpool game has been absolutely fantastic. My outside tip, and the ones who have put me money on for the league this season, Arsenal, albeit against one of the newly promoted teams, looked absolutely great. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing them play the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, because that'll dictate who wins the league. But I'm going to tip Arsenal to be the dark horse this season and upset the apple cart and win the league. That's my tip for the league. So I'm not What about you, Malcolm? Who do you fancy?
I have a little feeling for Chelsea, and I'm a Fulham supporter. So it's like a Newcastle supporter saying Sunderland will win the league. But I just have a little feeling that Chelsea are going to surprise a lot of people. Can I just mention, just slightly changing the subject, I would like to congratulate all the people who run the Referees Association and what have you. I'm absolutely delighted that they've changed to allowing the referee to go to the side of the pitch and view VAR, because it's keeping the whole thing flowing a lot quicker. The players aren't having to stand around for ages and ages, and I much prefer to see the referee, who is the man in the middle, be able to make the decision himself instead of it coming down his earpiece. And I think the game's flowed.
Can I just jump in there, lads, and say I don't care who wins the league. I care about where Newcastle United are going to finish in the league. And I would like to turn the table on you two boys, Malcolm and Steve. Where are Newcastle going to finish this season? That's more important.
Yeah, I think Newcastle, that they will be finishing sort of the lower part of the middle of the table. So I'm sort of talking about 13th place, somewhere like that.
I'm going for 12th place. I think that's what where I see Newcastle this season. I mean, it could be top, but I think anything between 10 and 12 is realistic. I think with this squad, we need injuries to play that part and avoid them like the plague. We need Wilson to bang the goals in and stay fit, and that is the key for us, really. Like, that is the key. But
sure. And it's absolutely key what you say, Steve, that we need a forward line that can knock goals in and take the pressure off the back four, who have just been under that enormous pressure, literally 95 to 100% of every single game, because there was so little going on up front. And so I'm looking forward to this, because I think we might just see a much better performing back four, simply because of the strength of the forward line.
Yep, I agree. Welcome to Joe Allen. I hope you can hear us,
Hey,
Joe.
how are you?
Joe,
hello,
how are you doing, mate?
Good to see you.
How are you? You okay?
Yeah. Good to see another number 9. Two number 9s together now. That's fantastic. Good to see you, Joe.
There's only one number 9.
Are you talking about this program, or are you talking about Newcastle?
There's only one number 9 in that studio, and that's you, Steve Wraith. In for the felon.
Classic.
Listen. Right, we're going to do a giveaway. Am I coming on now or not?
Yes, you're on, Joe. You're on. You're live.
Right, okay. So,
yeah, but why are you talking from your bed, John?
We got Mal, I love you so much. It's so good to hear your voice, honestly. The hairs still stand on the back of my neck, right, when I talk to you, because people say about you should never meet your idols or your heroes. And obviously, my mother was my hero, and you were my idol in football, and I love you so much.
Oh, bless you, John.
You know how much I do love you, and I'm proud to say that you're my friend. But when Newcastle played West Ham once, I was a boot boy. And in them days, there was only one substitute. Now, I think Steve's got a little present for some of the guys that come in and do our stuff.
Yeah, we're going to give two tickets away for the Legends dinner with the Legends talking at the theatre next year. So go on, Joe.
So Newcastle United played West Ham at Upton Park, and they lost 8-1.
Oh, we've lost Joe. That's a classic. Welcome to Nathan.
Not only Newcastle lost, Joe lost as well.
He did. We'll come back to Joe. I'm sure Joe will be joining us during the night. This is the thing. Joe's technology is great. He's got it. He does the show on his phone. He always types in my name, even though I tell him to type his name in. So then we've got 2 Steve Wraiths on the show. It becomes a classic. Anyway, Liverpool 4, Leeds 3. Salah did complete his hat trick. So
Really?
Leeds' effort was in vain, unfortunately for them. But what a great start by Leeds. I'm sure that bodes well for them for the rest of the season. Welcome, Nathan, as well. We'll come to you as the night goes on.
Nathan. Yeah, but Leeds will take a lot of positives out of that game at Anfield. They really will. A lot of positives.
Yeah.
Yes,
Joe.
I leave.
Go on, John.
Can I say before I leave, mate, because I've got to go and prepare for the game. But I mean, I'm not looking to take a lot of positives out of a 4-3 defeat for Newcastle at West Ham this afternoon. I'm looking to take the positives together with 3 points.
Absolutely.
I believe that Newcastle will do that. I forecast, Steve, when I was on here with Malcolm midweek, that Newcastle would win 2-1. Having seen the team tonight, I'm more than happy to stick with that. I believe it's going to be a positive start to the season. Please may it be so. 3 points, very, very nice. A good display. Callum Wilson to score on his debut. That'll do for me. Good night. Love you all. Keep the faith.
Yeah, that would be great.
Fabulous, mate.
See you on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Big thanks to John Gibson for joining us from the Chronicle. He's got to get off. Joe's back. Joe, we need you to finish the question. Just need to unmute your mic if you can. I'm not sure if we can do that. It just seems to have frozen. We cannot hear you now. We've lost you before. Now your mic's gone off, Joe. It's comical. We need your mic on. Maybe if you remove yourself and come back in, mate. Come back in. That's it. Great stuff. Nathan, welcome. You've seen the team. What did you make of the first Steve Bruce team of the new season?
Yeah, I mean, we did a thing on Al Walid's show last night where 4 or 5 of us picked our teams and what they would be. And I think all 4 or 5 of us were exactly the same, kind of in the same sort of forward line. Callum Wilson on his own with a few, with the wingers around him and an attacking midfielder behind him. And I said at the time, it wouldn't surprise me if, despite all us saying the same thing, it wouldn't surprise me if Bruce went something completely different. I had a feeling he was going to go 2 up top, perhaps, with Callum Wilson. But I really thought, like what you said, I thought he was going to play Joe Linton, to be honest. But much happier to see Carroll in the team than I am Joe Linton. I think I was interested to see how we'd see Wilson running off a bigger forward. So I think Andy Carroll's an intelligent forward. So if he can hold the ball up for him and Wilson coming off, I think we might have a lot of success up there. I think the rest of the team pretty much picks itself, doesn't it? I'm surprised that Hendrick's in. I thought he might play Almiron as well. In the middle 2, I think they were pretty nailed on for the middle 2 in the middle of the park. But yeah, I'm surprised Almiron's not in, and Hendrick and Carroll's a bit of a surprise. But yeah,
Joe Allen's back.
Thanks,
back. Nathan. He's back, and he's wanting to finish his question. Oh, come on, then, Joe. Finish the question, the competition question.
Come on for Supermac. I only come on for Supermac.
Right.
I didn't need to hear about them tactics, right? But listen, we played West Ham, right, and we got beat 8-1. You're going to give away 2 prizes to all the good, lovely punters that comes on the tickets for the Legends do. I'm doing some comedy, which will be a lot more funny than I am tonight. But anyway, I've been busy lately. I went to the Sunderland Player of the Year do last night. It was a rollover. Anyway, when we played West Ham, we lost 8-1. Newcastle United scored 1 goal. Firstly, and this is for 2 tickets for this event, who scored the goal? But Newcastle United that night, and I was ball boy, like I was getting the skips and whatever, because there's only 12 in them days, and I was 13th man. Obviously the best looking, but there was 3 goalkeepers went and go for Newcastle United that night. Whoever gets the 3 goalkeepers and who scored Newcastle United's goal gets the 2 tickets for the Legends do.
Great stuff. So we're looking
you
for
go.
these comments. I know the answers, Joe. It's always good to have you on. You've seen the team, I presume, Joe, for tonight's game. How do you see the game going? Obviously, there it is. Darlow. Oh, he's away again. This is the problem when you use a mobile phone and somebody rings, it just cuts you off. We have got other guests coming in, and Malcolm, feel free whenever. I know you have to shoot off as well to watch the game, so we will bring other people in. Just feel free to let us know when you have to go. We'll bring Al Walid in from Saudi Arabia. Good evening, Al Walid.
Good evening. How are you, lads?
Hi, mate.
Hi, Al Walid.
Hi,
Good
man.
to see you. And we've got Martin.
You're not coming on to do a takeover, are you?
I don't do takeovers, Malcolm.
We've got the Irish, one of the Irish connections, Martin. He's here as well. Al Walid, what's your take on the team? You've seen the team. Are you happy with the selection?
Actually, I was surprised a little bit, but Steve Bruce maybe trying to reach to make the winning formula. I wasn't that surprised regarding Hendrik. He went maybe to play center midfielder. To help the defense. He went really, and he doesn't want to lose this game, at least go for a draw. Almiron, I think he just keep him as a weapon for the second half.
Okay, Martin, come to you for your team before I bring Joe Allen back in. What's your take on the selection? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I think we pretty much called everything barring Carroll. I don't think anybody was too far out. Maybe Hendrik instead of Shelby. I think myself and Nathan and Al Walid were talking last night. The majority seemed to be looking at Shelby and Hayden. But look, not past Bruce to spring a surprise. We did talk last night about Carroll being one of the better players of being able to hold up the ball at the top of the pitch. So I can get that. I think, there's room to get in and around the back of West Ham. So maybe, with ASM, with Wilson and a couple running on from him, Hendrik, then maybe Carroll holding the ball up might give us a chance to break. So exactly, Malcolm. So I think it's a good team. It's an attacking team, I think. So let's see whether we get Bruce ball.
Yeah, that's the big worry, isn't it? But everyone starts with a clean slate for me.
Yes, new season.
New season, new slate. We're going to give Joe another try. Joe, are you back? He's live in the boot room. Joe?
I hope so, buddy.
Right. There's your team, Joe. I'm not sure if you'd seen it.
A couple of the pigeons are fighting.
A couple of the pigeons. Is he gone again? Is he in the? He's gone again.
He's gone again.
I'm going
to leave you, Steve and gentlemen. I hope you thoroughly enjoy the game. I'm going to go and see if I can find Joe.
Good stuff. Take care, Malcolm. Thanks for joining us,
guys.
Thanks for your input. Take care. Great to have Malcolm on, and I'm sure you lads appreciated being on the screen with two people who play the number 9. Pete, welcome. You just managed to get on screen with Malcolm McDonald. So it was great to have you. Great to have you on there briefly with that. Joe's back again. Have you caught the pigeons, Joe? No, he hasn't. He hasn't.
I think Joe's using the same internet as the Iceman was last night.
Hey, he's back again. It's like Laurel and Hardy. Oh, he's gone. Honestly, I don't know what he's doing, but it's entertainment anyway. But listen, thanks for coming on. Obviously, anyone who's just tuning in and seeing all the madness that's going on, there's going to be plenty of that tonight, I think, because I've never undertaken doing anything like this before. But we're all sitting at home. We're all watching the match. 9 times out of 10, we're all on Twitter, all making a comment about what's going on, and that's what the way it is. So what we decided to do was, between some of the lads and some of the lasses I think are going to come on later. We just thought, let's give it a go and try a live broadcast whilst the match is on. So it could all go horribly wrong and be an absolute nightmare. It could be a right laugh. So let's just see what happens. I mean, obviously we'll do it whilst these games are live on Sky, BT, and what have you, and we're all willing to do it and just have a laugh. A lot of people asking what the green on the messages, why some people's names are in green. I did set up a membership thing today. Obviously, I've spent a bit of money on getting headset. I've paid for StreamYard for the full year. All of these things I've paid for. Obviously, I don't mind. I've enjoyed doing the shows. So I've just put up a membership. So if you go to the top of the channel now, you can zoom along and you can see membership. Click on it. It's £1.99, and it's a donation really towards the cause. It just gets you a little emoji. Obviously, we've put stuff up there for businesses as well. It's not something you have to do. You can continue to watch the channel for free and enjoy it for free. But if enough people do that, maybe so we can improve the channel and move on and do greater and better things. But there's no change in what you're watching and what you have during the week. From my perspective, I just thought we'd try and get a little bit of revenue. So I do want to thank, in no particular order, Colin Wilson, Trulls, if that is the right pronunciation, and Gary McAlpine, Daniel Lowther, Sean Wilson. They've all taken out memberships already. Much appreciated. Thanks for doing that. As I say, it's nice of you to do that, and I'm glad you're enjoying the content. So yeah, Pete, we'll come to you, mate. You've just joined us. The team's on the screen there. Darlow, of course, in goal. Back four, it looks like. Manquillo, Fernandez, Lascelles and Lewis. Midfield, Shelby, Hendrick, Hayden, St. Maximin and Carolyn Wilson up front. Looks like a good old-fashioned 4-4-2. Obviously, the bench has got Gillespie, Joe Linton, Richie Kraft, Fraser, Almiron and Sean Longstaff on. What's your views on that when you first saw it?
Well, firstly, I was really intrigued by it because we had two strikers up front. We don't normally have that, so it was great to see. And for me, it showed an element of attacking intent, which is for a fan, it's exciting to see. I was thinking about whether it was a 4-4-2 or whether it was a 4-3-1-2. And maybe playing Alan St. Maximin in that number 10 and having him in that sort of free role to be able to drift from left to right. It'd be interesting to see how it shapes up, or maybe they even transition that throughout the game, depending on how the game's going. But it'll be. I know Hendricks can play on the right hand side, but there was a lot of talk of that was the reason why he left Burnley, because he wanted to play in centre midfield. So. It'd be interesting to see if he, the first game he starts for us, he starts on the right-hand side of a 4. So I think it might possibly be a 3, and those 3 can just interchange. 1 goes forward, 2 sits in. But no, it was nice to see that there was 2 strikers. I want to see an attacking intent, because I think if we really go for these today, I think they're there to be had.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, you could be right with the formation. That's the beauty when it's written down on a piece of paper or tweeted out or whatever. It looks like one formation, but it'll be interesting to see, how it actually develops during the game. Let's go around the clock then, lads. I mean, it's always a good time to start talking about where you think things are going to go this season. I mean, we've all had a look at the signings. I think most of us are happy with them. Nathan, I'll come to you first. What's your views then on our season? Where do you see Newcastle United finishing this season?
Yeah, I was really worried about the start of the season this time last week when I was on the show with you on Sunday. I think I gave my prediction as like 16, 17, something like that. I thought that's the best we could hope for. Obviously, things change quite quickly, don't they, for Newcastle United? So then, after those signings that came in at the beginning of the week, I feel like it's not often that we add 3 players to the team that that are going to come straight into our starting 11 when they're all fit and improve our team. Usually we're sort of bulking out the team with depth rather than people that are going to come right into the starting 11. So I think with those players will make a world of difference to our team joining us. And I think like you, I don't think we're going to. Because you've got to remember that the manager who's managing them is Steve Bruce at the end of the day. So whether he gets the best out of those players, I'm not sure. But I reckon that they'll see us safe and they'll see us up into about 11th, 12th or something like that. I don't see us finishing much higher than that. But I think that's down to the management. Unfortunately, I don't think you'd be able to get the best out of them. But I think we've got enough about us to make sure we're well safe this season and around the mid-table, I would have thought.
Yep, Joe Allen's back again. The pigeons have been caught. Joe, are you with us?
Did we get the question?
Yes, we've got the question. We're waiting for the answer.
So, there was 3 goalkeepers that played that night when we lost at 8-1, right? And I was carrying the skips. What was the name of the 3 goal score? The 3 goalkeepers.
Martin Thomas.
They will get 2. They will get 2. Martin Thomas.
Yep, I think we've got 3 people who've got the correct answer. I just want to double check with you. The other one was Peter Beardsley. And the other one was Chris Hedworth.
That is the very right answer. Who scored for Newcastle that night when we got beat 8-1?
Now, this is the bone of contention, but I thought it was Billy Whitehurst.
It was who?
Was it Billy Whitehurst? Oh, he's gone again. This is better than EastEnders. This is better than EastEnders. Okay, Al-Walid, on to you. We'll bring Joe back in when he stops getting phone calls off whoever he's getting phone calls off. Where do you think Newcastle will finish this season?
Tonight we will have a pretty much idea about that. My expectation, I'm optimistic. I can go 10th or 11th.
Yeah, 10th or 11th. Okay, that's pretty much what most people seem to think. Pete, are you going to change the dimensions? Do you think we could go higher, or do you think we're going to be involved in a relegation battle? What's your take on Newcastle United's season?
Well, we shouldn't be fighting relegation battle. Not with the players that we've signed and the money so far that's been invested. I'm looking at some of the other teams and what they've invested so far, and I'm thinking, we've got a better squad than them, not just a better 11. So we shouldn't be fighting relegation. However, I think again we'll be languishing around the 10th to 13th position this season. There's a couple of positions, particularly at right back, maybe at centre back as well, where we're missing a quality player that could maybe take us into the top half of the table. I think that's what we're missing. We're also missing consistency as well. We're not a consistent team. You need to be relatively consistent if you're going to be fighting the top half of the table. Last season, a lot of teams for a long period were not playing well, which gave us a slight slither of chance of maybe fighting for the top half of the table. But most seasons, most of the teams are relatively consistent, and we'd have to be that way if we were going to be up there. So 10th to 13th is probably our best sort of positions for the season, unless something drastically changes.
Yeah, okay. Martin, your take on that season? What do you think Newcastle's going to do this season?
Yeah, we've spoke a couple of times now, Steve. I touted for 13th, so I'm still hovering in around that. So anywhere 12th, 13th, I think is where we're going to be realistically. It'd be great to get to 10th or higher. I think the key with the team is again, we've spoken, injuries still worry me. I still worry that if we get a couple of injuries in key positions, as much as we've got a bit more choice now around the team, I think that's where we don't have the bench maybe that we really want. So I think injuries will be crucial. I think how our medical team manage players with niggles and strains over the winter months in particular, I think will make a difference over what's a fairly hectic period. But yeah, I think 12th to 13th, Steve, I think we'll be there or thereabouts. Consistency, like guys have said, and injuries play a big part.
Yep. Welcome back, Joe. I did say Billy Whitehurst, I thought, was the scorer.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, mate. Billy Whitehurst, was he the goal scorer?
You got it all right.
Good stuff. Well, the person who won it was, after a little bit of to and fro, was Steve Bennett. So Steve Bennett has won the 2 tickets. Well done, Steve. Barry Hogan got it right as well. A couple of other people said that Goddard scored for Newcastle when, in fact, on that night he was playing for West Ham, and he scored for West Ham. But congratulations. Yeah, Alvin Martin, of course, got a hat-trick that night. But Steve Bennett, you've won the tickets. If you drop us a message. Yeah. Yeah. Joe's frozen again. Unfortunately, Joe is having technical difficulties. Great to have him on the show. I'm sure we'll get him back again during the night at some point. But Steve Bennett, congratulations. You have won the tickets. You correctly guessed that it was Martin Thomas, of course, who started in goal, followed then by Chris Hedworth, who then got injured as well. Then replaced by Peter Beardsley, who finished in goal. And Billy Whitehurst scored Newcastle's goal in the 77th minute to make the score 5-1. Of course, the final score at Upton Park that night was West Ham United 8, Newcastle United 1. Let's hope there's not a repeat of that tonight. Goals are the one thing we were lacking last year, Nathan. We've signed Callum Wilson. And, for me, that is really a good signing. I've got to be honest, I don't often get excited by signings at Newcastle United. When I saw that, that name linked with Newcastle, I was hoping we'd get him, and we have. Are you happy?
Yeah, I think it's one of those when it was mentioned, you just thought there's no way, there's no way, not for any other reason than the club's ambition to actually go out and act upon a rumor, because we hear these rumors all the time, but how many of them are kind of unfounded, or we hear all these sort of transfers that break down in terms of fees being unable to be agreed. But it looks like, I think the most pleasing thing for me was not only the fact that we signed him, but the fact that we kind of outbid someone and sort of beat off another club to the signature. Because usually for us, as soon as there's another club involved, that means unfortunately we're missing out on that player usually, doesn't it? So I think, yeah, it's massively great to get him in. I think the links that he had to some of the other teams, I think it was linked to Tottenham and Arsenal and a few others only a couple of seasons ago. He had a bit of a poor season last season, but I think the whole team did, and that's more down to the team. So yeah, really good to get him in. Sort of guaranteed goal, really clever player as well, and adds a lot of much needed pace to our sort of forward line. I mean, our wingers are quick, but sort of beyond that, we don't have that much pace. It looks like sort of Dwight Gale's lost a couple of yards since a couple of years ago, I think. So yeah, much needed pace and a really clever finisher. I was looking at some of his stats as well, and it was saying that when he gets into a chance like a goal scoring position, I think it's something like his scoring rate, something like 90% of chances that he gets into or something. It's it's really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do for us. Yeah.
Yeah, big thanks to John Justice Allen and Ian Hutchinson, who've also become members tonight. Cheers, lads. Al Walid, Callum Wilson. He looks like he can do a job for Newcastle. He needs somebody to create the ammunition really for him to fire the bullets. But he's got that in the likes of St Maximin and Almiron in the squad, of course, and Fraser, who he came from Bournemouth with. It could be an exciting season for Callum Wilson.
We spent a while looking for a striker, especially the last month before we signed him. It's opportunity for him to prove himself again that he's a good striker, and I hope he will find his way to be on the top scorer sheet in the Premier League this season. Maybe he's lucky today. He will play with Carroll, and Carroll, he's an experienced player. Hopefully, he will help him to score the first goal. We always know the first goal or first game is very important to score in the first game for a player who just moved to a club. So good luck for Wilson and the team for get us a win tonight, beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing this with you lads and not listening to Graham Souness waffling on. Apparently he's saying that we all love Steve Bruce now. Dear me, how? It's no wonder Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's laughing. I can just, every time I see Graham Souness's mouth move, I know he's telling lies. But Pete, from your perspective, you're looking at Callum Wilson really, and you're expecting goals, aren't you?
Really excited. He's the one signing for a long time that's really excited me. And as a striker, he's the one striker that we've signed for a long time, probably since Loic Remy, where he's come in and you think, I've got confidence in you that you can score goals for us, because he's just got that ability about him. He's got that experience, the know-how. He's done it at this level, but he's also, he's played at international level as well. Some of the strikers that were coming in the past, your Mitrovic's and your Dwight Gales, you're always questioning, can you really do it? But with Wilson, he gives me that confidence that he can score goals. We just now have to have the guys around him to make sure that they're providing enough chances for him in the game, in the 90 minutes that he can put the ball in the net. So it does. It really excites me that he's come in. I'm glad that we've put the money down to get him into the club. And you know what? More than anything, it's how he's spoken about the club, and it's how he's spoken in his interview since he's signed. He's not tried to play the fans in any way. He's been honest. He had options, but he weighed it up, and he's been quite clear on why he's here. He's here to score goals. He talked about the fact that he's on 40, 41 Premier League goals within the 4, maybe 5, if he takes the option, years at this club. He wants to be hitting that 100 Premier League goals for Newcastle. And for that, that would be fantastic. If he was to hit that amount of goals in the next 4 or 5 years, that would see us, climbing up the table nicely. So, that as well was really, really nice to hear. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Joe Allen, welcome back again. Callum Wilson, what's your view on him? Good striker. Are you happy that he's at Newcastle? Can you hear us, Joe? He's gone again. He's gone again. This is becoming comical. Martin, Callum Wilson, go on.
I was just wondering, is Joe doing the answers in installments, Steve? But anyway.
I think he is. The thing is, Joe is probably one of the funniest guys on the after dinner circuit. But this is actually, as we will say, it is comic gold when Joe does this. And I see off screen, people can't see, but I can constantly see Joe Lincoln. And every now and then he comes up below you lads, and he's putting up notes like that, etc. So it's if I start laughing, I'm not laughing at you lads. I'm laughing at Joe doing something off screen. But the fact that he can't hear us is even funnier. Right, okay, Martin, go for it. Callum Wilson, your view on him?
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to score goals. I think if you look at it from a striker's perspective, we've probably not had a buzz of a striker, probably I would say since Rondon. Somebody that came in to the team and that will get you goals. So from that perspective, I think he's a great addition. I think like Nathan said, bit of a surprise really that we did get him, because again, once we do seem to mention players, it doesn't seem to come. So I think it's a great addition. I think it's a bit of a coup, to be honest, for us. And I think that's not in a bad way, but I think it's just where we are now as a club, given the Ashley years. So I think to get him, and at the end of the day, he's still an England striker, whether you want to call it or not. For 20 million, if he's going to hit the goal trail, then I think it's a really, really good buy. So yeah, I'm confident he'll do well, and I think he'll hopefully, if he gets off to a good start today, which would be great, I think he'll give us as good a buzz. And I think the lads will have a striker that can look at the likes of what we have with Rondon and Remy and Bar. That you've got someone when you've done 2/3 of the work is going to finish the job, and I don't think we've had that for a while now.
No, definitely not. Ali Hassan with 8 minutes to go. It'll kick off as asking what our score predictions are. Douglas Hunter, you've just become a new member. Thanks very much for joining, mate. He's going 3-0 to Newcastle. I've seen a lot of people predicting a Callum Wilson hat-trick. That would be great. It would be a fantastic way to announce yourself to the Geordie public. He would join the ranks of Supermac, Mickey Quinn, to name but two. Nathan, are you as confident? What's your prediction for tonight's game?
I reckon it's going to be a scrappy 1-0 win. I think we're gonna. I think like there's a lot of optimism for this game. There's a lot of positivity with the signings we've made and everything. I think we might get a bit of a dose of realism when the game starts, and it's a bit scrappier than we expect, I would imagine. But yeah, I reckon a 1-0 win. I reckon and Wilson to score, hopefully.
Okay, 1-0 Wilson. Al Walid, what's your prediction for tonight's game?
Usually at the beginning of the seasons, as we see today with Liverpool and Leeds, usually the teams are not still mistakes that didn't cover yet in the practice. So, but I believe Newcastle will win tonight.
What scoreline?
2-1 or 3-1.
2-1 or 3-1. Okay, that's 2 wins. Pete.
I've got to agree with Amelie, really. I think it'll be 2-1 to Newcastle. I'd love to say we'd get a clean sheet, but me personally, I'm just not confident in Darlow at all. I don't rate him as a goalkeeper. I really don't, and that worries me in the games to come. But yeah, I think we'll win. I think our attacking intent hopefully will shine through. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Just a quick mention to Grace. No, we can't show the match. Sadly, we'll get shut down and sued probably by Sky. Wouldn't be a good idea. But we'll be talking a load of rubbish about it. I'm sure. That's me. I'm not sure what the rest of the lads will be saying, but yeah, I'm sure we'll see. I'm sure we'll see some reactions. Certainly, if Newcastle score. But I'm looking forward to it. We've never done it before. It should be a laugh. It's either going to be a big success or a complete flop. We'll leave it for you guys to decide. But one thing you can all do is chip in and give us your opinions. Martin, give us your scoreline for tonight, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think it's going to be scrappy. I think it'll be an odd goal. However, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, Steve.
Okay, 1-1 draw. 1-1 draw. Okay, well, I've gone 2-2. That was my prediction last night. I think it'll be a game with a lot of goals in. I think both teams will go for it. I think for the same reason that Pete has said, my concerns lie in the goalkeeping position. We've lost our best player from last season in Dubravka to injury. He's out for a little while, and that is my biggest concern. I've got no real confidence either of the keepers, and I'm pleased Lascelles back. I think I've been a critic of Lascelles, but as I said, everybody starts with a clean slate at the start of the season. But I'm generally I'm concerned about the goalkeeping position. So I'm going to go 2-2. I think West Ham have got a lot of problems going on off the pitch. Their coach, David Moyes, isn't somebody who instills a lot of confidence in their fans. I know that much. So I think 2-2 would be about right. But looking forward to it kicking off. Obviously, we've got about 4 or 5 minutes left. We haven't mentioned, lads, obviously the takeover and the fallout this week. Been absolutely mental, hasn't it? I mean, Nathan, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, comes to the point now where I'm accused of being the Money Mike Ashley Twitter account, which is absolutely hilarious. Not by fans, it has to be said, because most fans are saying Steve Wraith's not that funny, so it can't be him. But it's now actually a respected journalist, Luke Edwards, who I actually blocked 2 months ago on Twitter, who's now accusing me of being an account based around Mike Ashley. I mean, you couldn't make this up, could you? Then the takeover to boot. It's just been another mental week, hasn't it?
Wait, so it's not you then?
It's definitely not me. I actually know who it is. The thing is, I actually know who it is, and I've never met there's 2 people who run it. I've never actually met them, and I'm not going to divulge who they are on the show, but I know who it is. And that's a hilarious thing. And they don't know me. I don't know them. They're actually on Twitter under separate accounts as well. But apparently it's me, which is absolutely hilarious. Luke Edwards had a complete meltdown today, which is not unusual, it has to be said. But this takeover has really got to a few people. It seems to have got to a lot of people, hasn't it? And this week, just everything seemed to explode. But at the end of the day, like I said to Malcolm and John right at the start of the show at 7 o'clock, we haven't moved forward. We haven't moved back. We've actually stood still, but there's just been an explosion of noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Mark Ashley throwing his toys out the pram, isn't it? I think that is always it, because like the deal hasn't been rejected, and we've heard that like they're not necessarily walked away from the buyers, haven't necessarily walked away from the deal. But yeah, I think it's a case of we've just got to hope that Mark Ashley doesn't sort of ruin this process by doing something like akin to what he did this week. Really, like if he explodes again like that and kind of messes things up, then that could derail it. But yeah, I think it's clear to see there's a lot of things sort of going on in the background, isn't there? There was a thing set up yesterday where a Saudi TV company was given the go ahead by the state to be set up and to be state owned. That's looking like something that could rival sort of beIN Sports at some point. I think that there was something whereby Man City did something similar to allow them to do a state ownership of a football club. So I think the wheels turning in the background, and what I'd sort of say to everyone is
What's that like?
Yeah, I agree. Al-Walid, I mean, obviously you've been watching it from Saudi. I think your heart's been in your mouth like everybody else, but you're looking at the situation now. You must be thinking, it looks as if we're still in with a chance of owning that fantastic club in Geordieland.
Yeah, actually, it's, the last couple of days it's been crazy. When we hear about the rejection, Premier League rejection, the statement of Newcastle and Mike Ashley, I thought to myself, okay, but why now? Yani, I didn't get it. Okay, why now? But I said to myself, it's a good thing, because now the legal action will start. and hopefully we'll move the stagnant water. After the deny by Premier League, I said, okay, that's explained, but also a good thing. That means it's still hope that it's gonna happen. So it's as you say, it's getting us back and forth, and we're still in the same area until now.
Yep. Okay, lads, we're about to kick off. We'll talk takeover maybe a little bit later if we've got quick time to run through those questions at half time. But everybody's going to settle down to watch the game. We're getting ready. Feel free to comment on the game, everybody, and obviously we'll be talking through major talking points. We're not going to give a running commentary, but anybody wants to chip in and say something, by all means do it, lads. It's our show. It's not my show. I'll look at the comments. Anyone's got a comment, I might read one out. But just feel free. If anybody's got any, I'll bring the major incident and see if there's a penalty or a bit of VAR. We can give it a shout. But it's going to be interesting, lads. Never done this before, so just enjoy it and let's see what it brings. But how are the lads? Let's hope we get 3 points tonight.
Go lads!
Come on, boys.
So anyone who hasn't seen the team anyway, it's obviously available on most of the decent journals, the decent journalist social media. I will stick it back up there. Yeah, I'll stick it back up on here. Here we go.
Yellow card straight away now.
Carol's being them out.
There's the starting lineup, guys. If you've just tuned in, Darlow in goal. Obviously, we're waiting to see what the formation is. Manquillo, Fernandez, Lascelles, Lewis, Shelby, Hendrick, Hayden, St. Maximin, Carroll, Wilson, Gillespie, Joe Linton, Richie, Kraft, Fraser, Almiron, and Sean Longstaff. That's your squad and your substitutes.
There's a bit of an elbow there. He's put that on him early.
Marker laid down.
So
Yeah, show where he's here.
Juchek's their biggest threat in the air. So
he did that against City, didn't he? He was throwing himself around against City early on.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, he's having a look, isn't he? He's having a look.
Oh, he's going up to have a look here.
I thought he was, but he's not.
Well in. Max down.
That's the one thing that Andy Carroll brings to the team, though, isn't it? I mean, apart from when it's a full St James's Park, he's on the bench, he comes on and he gets everybody up for it. If the atmosphere is flat, which it has been for the last few years, he brings a bit of physicality to the game, doesn't he? And that's what you want to see, really, from a number 9. And it's something essentially that we've never saw from Joe Linton.
Yeah, exactly. It was too soft, wasn't he, Joe Linton? I think it's that Man City game in the cup when I think that'd have gone quite differently if. But Andy Carroll got shut down from doing that kind of thing very early on, didn't he? He got booked really early on, but they were terrified of him. And I think if he can do that, if he can leverage that properly, there'll be a lot of defenders that'll be scared of him this season. I don't know whether this means this is how we're going to set up week in, week out, but. Yeah, I'm pleased to see that. I'm pleased to see him putting himself around like that. It's certainly something we need, a bit of nastiness up there, definitely.
The thing with Carroll is that as he's getting older, he's becoming less mobile. So as a target man, you need someone with a little bit of pace around him because he's not going to win every header in the air, but he's going to make it difficult for the centre backs, and that's where someone like Wilson could really benefit from getting on the end of some of these chances that are created sometimes out of nothing. So it'd be nice to see how this works, actually.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is just I don't believe there's any better player that knows how to put a ball somewhere or into a box than a striker does, because they know the ball they want. You know.
Yeah, that was the one thing with Alan Shearer, wasn't it? You always hoped that Alan Shearer could be on the end of his own crosses.
Yeah, he was a fantastic crosser of the ball. Oh, very underrated.
Is it 4-4-2, lads? Is it 4-4-2?
I think it is, but I think like what Pete said, I think they'll probably like move it around, won't they, as and when they're under pressure or when they're on the break and that kind of thing. Because like Hendrick's not a natural winger, is he? But like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh. Oh.
Jennifer Smith reckons if we can knock the commentary down, we might get copyrighted. So somebody's got the commentary up loud. Maybe it's worth just knocking it down. Good stuff, though.
Newcastle keeping the ball for a decent period. Nice flat cross.
That's it, perfect. Can't hear it now. Good stuff. What did you make of that first chance, guys?
Got it well, didn't he? There.
Nice to have a left back that could whip a ball in.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, doesn't it, to have somebody doing that? And we've got a few players that can do that as well now, which is excellent.
Definitely. That's it.
4-2. Yeah.
I was going to say.
I think I'm like 20 seconds behind everyone else. I've only just seen it because I'm on Sky Go player. You're going to be shouting.
Or have it on the laptop and on the phone just in case.
I'll try and keep it down, Nathan. I'll try and delay it slightly.
Yeah.
So who's ahead? Are you ahead, Pete? Are you ahead of everybody else? Are you watching on TV?
Yes, I'm 5 minutes 10 seconds now into the game.
Right.
Oh God, I'm like 8 seconds behind.
I'm at 5 or 7, so I'm not too far behind you.
Right, okay,
Ooh.
Pete. We'll leave it to you. Pete, give us an indication of where we're at. Then that would be good. You can lead. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, Wilson just made a great little move into the channels, create a little bit of space, put a ball in. Cowie's tried to get on the end of it. It's gone for a corner. Yeah, just nice.
That's
nice
a good run there.
stretch the defenders nicely.
Wilson's looking lively.
Oh!
Tell us, Pete.
Oh, great save from the corner. Not sure who got the end of it. It might be Carroll. The flagged offside. But yeah, great ball in. Someone's got on the end of it, and the keeper's had to make a save. I think it's Fernandez, actually. Yeah, great knock-in from Shelby. Fernandez is near post, got the flick. But yeah, the flag's gone up. I'm not too sure why. Whether there was
The second ball back in, I think, Pete, the rebound.
Okay.
When it goes back in, we 2 off.
Yeah, positive start.
I can say the new players want to score, excited to score a goal.
Yeah, definitely. So, as I said from the beginning, we've got a real opportunity. First game of the season to really go out and stamp our authority on this game. Take advantage of West Ham that have not had the best pre-season like us, but with our signings that we've got through the door, we should be going into the game with confidence. So there's no reason why we can't get at these and really cause them some problems.
We're looking like we've settled really well as well. We're looking like knocking the ball around well.
Yeah.
Good first involvement from Jamal Lewis as well, like getting him down, getting that cross into the box. That's something we've been lacking from that left-hand side, that isn't it, for quite a while.
Definitely. Zetto was a really good left back. Attacking intent. He likes to overlap the left winger, but crossing wasn't his best. He'd like to come inside and like he did a couple of times, get a shot off. He likes to score goals as a left back, whereas his delivery wasn't always on point. Dummett wasn't really very good at his delivery. So it's nice to have someone that can do a bit of both, to be honest.
I'm now back in the game. 7 minutes and 43 seconds in, and we're about right, lads.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the
good stuff. I'm live. I've moved rooms, lads. I've moved rooms on the move there, but I'm up to date. So don't worry. You did a great job there, lads. I was listening.
I had to do the same. Just as we're about to get to kick off, where I normally sit, I've had to literally change the room round mid-flow just to make sure I was in a position to be able to watch it.
Great stuff. All right. Well, as I said, I mean, from our perspective, we've never done this before. We're giving it a go. If it's any good and people are enjoying it, then stay tuned. Please keep contributing. We'll get as many comments on the screen as possible. But I think it's an encouraging start. I think we can see that Andy Carroll and Wilson have certainly linked up well. Carroll, of course, they're just re-showing his opening gambit there, where he's sticking the elbow in, and Carroll's well known for that. His physicality, he likes to get stuck in and likes to get stuck about. And I've been a big critic of Carroll But I've got to be honest. If this is the Andy Carroll that we're going to see, and he can stay fit, then he would start every game for me. But it's keeping him fit that's always the big issue. But it's nearly 10 minutes in. It's an encouraging start, isn't it, guys? Encouraging start from Newcastle.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement in that final third. Something that we've not feels like we've not had for a long time. Because when last season we were looking at the forward, and whether it was Joe Linton or Gale, they looked like isolated at times. There wasn't a lot of movement around them, unless it was St. Max running in. But it looks like we're getting a lot of joy now, and looks like they're all moving for each other, which is good to see. They look really up for it as well.
Yeah, they definitely do. Definitely do. It was another meaty challenge in the centre of midfield there from Shelvey. I think the thing I've noticed as well in this opening 10 minutes is, as expected, Lewis is getting forward quite a bit on that left-hand side, isn't he? And he's quick, and he can control the ball well. He's not somebody who sits back in the left-back position like maybe Paul Dummett would. He likes to bomb on, and he's got the legs to get up front, but he doesn't think twice about getting back as well, which is positive. He's a defender, but he's also a pretty good attacker.
Get it out.
Definitely.
West Ham in the box here. Good save by Darlow, just down to his right, wasn't he? But a decent save by Darlow. First time West Ham. Is that the first time West Ham have threatened?
Yeah.
It was offside though, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah. Well, having said that with Newcastle, you can never be sure. We don't get much rub of the green, do we?
No, it's true. Very true. I mean, you were talking about Jamal Lewis just a minute ago, and you're absolutely right. But if you look back to the best left backs that we've seen from across Europe or in the Premier League, they push the opposition's wingers and fullbacks back the other way. They make them think defensively by pushing them back in their attacking intent, and that means they have to defend less throughout the game. And that's what you want. If Jamal Lewis is taking on their winger and their fullback and they're causing problems the other way, it means he's got to do less defensive work. So it's the classic example, really. And if he can do that more often, that'd be beneficial for us.
Yeah, West Ham getting into it now, which you'd expect, obviously, as the home team. Just trying to really just get a grasp of what the formation is. I mean, and I think Pete said earlier, right before the game, 4-4-2, but maybe it's 4-3-2-1 defensively. I think that's probably what it is. But they seem more organised. They certainly seem up for it, Newcastle, tonight. They're not sitting back there. Everyone seems to be doing their job. There seems to be a bit of urgency in the team, and going forward, certainly would look a threat.
Looks a diamond formation to me today. That looks
like
Max is going behind the front two, sort of thing.
Yeah, you might be right.
What minute are you guys on now?
11 minutes and 55 seconds.
All right, okay. I found another source that's only about 20 behind this time, so better. Must be from
Qatar. That
it is as well. I think it's being.
Yeah, Christopher's pointed out that Darlow's had a haircut. Maybe that's made him play better. Chris, I'm not sure whether you got the link. We did send. We did send you the link, Chris. If you can get in there.
Hayden, man.
Hayden getting a yellow card.
Yeah, Hayden got a yellow card.
That's a silly tackle.
Yeah, he didn't really need to go
nowhere there. Why is he tackling there?
Neither of them needed to go to ground there, really.
As I said, he's going nowhere.
He's going away from goal.
Nowhere.
Yeah. He's going away from goal. There's no need for it.
12 minutes 40 in, and your ball winner is on a yellow.
But this is the thing.
It seemed Hendricks a little ahead of Shelvey and Hayden, a little bit forward.
Yeah. But this is where West Ham are likely to get a goal from set pieces. This is where they create, because they've got guys that are good in the air like that. Just hit the bar. Just hit the bar. But that's it. That's where they're going to get their goals. So those silly free kicks in and around sort of any 30 to 40 yards out in and around the area, they're going to be whipping those balls in. So
good save by Darlow.
We've got to be careful.
Good save by Darlow. And I'm not sure who the West Ham player was, but Lascelles and Carroll were both on him. and he won the header. So I mean, that you're right, Pete. That's where West Ham's threat's going to come from, and they've got some half decent ball players in that midfield, haven't they? They've got Rice and Noble. Every time Noble plays against Newcastle, he seems to have a blinder. Of course, Rice, of course, in his debut season, scored that goal against Newcastle as well down at West Ham.
Yeah, true, very true.
Newcastle back on the attack
anyway.
anyway.
Line there, like he was against Stoke, wasn't he? So.
Yeah, it's quite a feisty game, like quite a meaty game, as you would expect. St. Maximin's on his backside again. Noble's just taking him out, and that's three times in the opening 15 minutes. St. Maximin's been hauled down and attacked. Lascelles is having a word with the referee now, obviously pointing that out. But yeah, it's St. Maximin really starting where he finished off last season, and you would imagine that teams now are going to really target him. They tried last season, but he got the better of a lot of teams. They're going to have to start thinking out of the box and doubling up against St. Maximin, aren't they?
Yeah. The one thing for me with St. Maximin, he needs to add an alternative to his game. So if you watch him on the left-hand side, a lot of the time he likes to turn onto his right-hand side, his stronger foot, and go in from that point of view. But as you saw, he scored the goal or set up the goal against Bournemouth for Sean Longstaff, cutting down on the left-hand side. Just having that a little bit more often just opens up his toolbox, really. He's got more to offer, and the defenders don't know which way he's going to go. At times, he can be easily read in terms of he's always going to go on his right-hand side. So he just needs to add a little something more to his game from that point of view, just to keep defenders thinking. Because the more that they're thinking, the less they're going to be able to easily mark him.
So Maximin charging forward again, looking for options. He's passed it to Carroll there. Hayden to Shelby. Newcastle certainly stretching the game. Manquillo has now got the ball on the right. It's all Newcastle again at the minute. It's good. Plenty running off the ball, looking for options. West Ham trying to close down. Chance again. Oh. Newcastle lost the ball, but West Ham again giving it away. Newcastle again back on the edge of the box. Another chance, but West Ham closing Newcastle United down.
Oh, come on. Hayden, you've got to be careful, man.
Free quick again, and Hayden, the guilty party, as you say, he's carrying a yellow card.
Yeah, he needs to be careful now.
If Almiron get to play, who do you think he will replace?
Carroll. If Almiron comes on,
come on for Carroll, I would imagine.
Carroll.
I'm surprised he's playing like yourself, but
Paul Oxley's pointed out that Nobles had 2 fouls and no yellow card. That's sometimes what happens when you're playing at home, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true. True.
I think there was a few when we played them at home last season, wasn't it? They had quite a few fouls that didn't get yellowed for.
Yeah, Nobles always getting bout him.
Daryl Wheatley's asking us, there's only 3 subs this season. Who do we think might come on at half time? I mean, it depends, of course, on how things go. Hayden's got himself on a yellow card now. You'd imagine he's going to be replaced at some point, depending on the scores.
Miggy Fraser and Richie, they'd be a natural, more attacking subs to come on, those 3, for sure.
Hendricks with Shelby, won't he? And put Fraser on the wing.
Yeah. Sky just putting up a reminder, of course, of our fantastic top scorers last season. John Joe Shelby, 6.
Oh, God.
Miggy Almiron, 4. Dear me, how. Let's hope it's not the same this season.
I don't know if you've noticed so far, though.
Shaver's got 5 in one game. That's nearly all the whole total for the whole season for us.
Surely that's a free kick. What? Yeah, I was just saying, I've noticed so far in the game, just under 20 minutes, the movement from Callum Wilson to just pull his defenders out onto the channels to create that little bit of space is fantastic. Really, really missed that. We didn't have that at all in Joe Linton. No intelligence, just to pull that striker out, just to create that space makes such a difference. Because that's where Callum Wilson wants to be. He wants to pull them out, get that ball in positions where he can go one-on-one at the defender and commit them. I've just seen that maybe 4, 5, 6 times in the first 20 minutes. Really, really good to see.
How do you not get booked for that?
Yeah, I'm struggling to see how that's not a yellow.
St. Maximin again lying on the ground in agony, pulled up now by Lewis, but another foul. Steve Bruce, the cameras are panned to Steve Bruce, and Steve Bruce is laughing there with Steve Agnew. Just can't understand how on earth that, we've had Hayden booked, yet no one else is getting booked for taking St. Maximin out. It's absolutely crazy. Targeting St. Maximin, trying to kick him out of the game.
What's the betting he's going to take Grealish's mantle as being the most fouled player this season in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think you're right.
Pole position 47 for Newcastle. Pole position so far.
So coming up to the 20-minute mark, West Ham have got the ball in their own half. Quite pleased. It'll be interesting to see what the possession total is when it comes up. It usually comes up around about the 20-25 minute mark, just to tell you where we're at. But you would imagine Newcastle's had a lot of the ball here.
I'm not missing these drinks breaks, like, are you?
No, definitely not. No, the drinks breaks were a nightmare. You can have a drinks break, Spenny, but
what's happened to the lager, Spenny? You on tea? You on coffee?
Coffee? Black coffee? I've had another drink for 5 weeks. Trying to lose some good,
Evan Chapman must have tuned in late. I went for a 2-2 draw. Nathan, remind us, did you go 1-1?
1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
I think 2. What did you go for, Al Walid?
2-1, 3-1, but now I can't change. Can I change?
Go on, yeah, change. Go for a minute.
It's because it looks like it's a tie game. Every teams are careful, very careful. They didn't want to lose, so.
Yeah, we'll go against St. Maximin on the ball. Nice little ball to Lewis, who gets the ball into the area. Oh, another chance for Newcastle. Callum Wilson just shoots wide. Just over 20 minutes on the clock. That's another chance goes begging for Newcastle. It was unlucky. It wasn't the easiest of chances. So Maximin, nice little ding through to Jamal Lewis. He squared the ball in. Wilson didn't quite connect. He was under pressure from the West Ham defender.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't quite connect. It was a half chance when you look back on it, and obviously went well wide when you saw the other camera angle. He shakes his head in disappointment, but he was there. And what was positive from that was a great ball in from Lewis, and certainly seems to be a connection there. You'd expect there to be a connection, after a few games, but they seem to have connected straight away. And we've got to bear in mind as well that these players have just signed this week, of course, haven't had the luxury of having a game. Haven't had the luxury of having a game. So it's great. We have Chris. Chris is here. How are you, Chris?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Surely free
Ryan
kick.
Ryan Fraser's on the bench there. The camera's panning to Ryan Fraser, and he'd be looking forward. Yeah. Simon Davis says, Lewis, well done for cutting it back. Yeah, it was a great ball in by Lewis. Tom Lynch, yeah, he said it was wider than it looked. How's Callum Wilson playing? Honest opinion from me, I think he's put more work in than some players that we had playing in that position all of last season. Chris, what's your take on what you've seen of Callum Wilson so far?
Yeah, no, I'm impressed. I mean, he's going into the box, challenging. Something we haven't seen from our strikers last year. So he's providing that missing element.
Last year's star down at West Ham was John Joe Shelvey. Newcastle have a free kick on the edge of the box. 22 minutes played. Shelvey's on it. He's looking at it. He's eyeing it up. He takes the free kick. Takes a deflection straight into the arms of the keeper. Spenny, your view on Callum Wilson so far, what you've seen, impressed?
I've been impressed, actually. He's done a few good runs and he's had a good few shots on the goal line. He's shot more than we did in our first game altogether last season.
Yeah, definitely.
We didn't
Pete,
have a shot on the second half, did we?
No. Peter, you impressed with Callum Wilson, mate?
I am, massively. Like I said earlier, the runs he's making into the channels, he's stretching the defenders, he's making them think about going backwards. He seems to have linked quite well with Carroll. They seem to have a little bit of an understanding already, which is really good. And it seems like, rather than just aimlessly putting the ball into the box, the guys that are putting the balls into the box are looking for him. So he's obviously told them early on, I want that ball inside the sort of penalty spot, 6-yard box, and I'm going to be running on the end of it. So it's really good to see so far. We're just wanting to get on the end of one and put it in the net.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Great ball.
Yeah, Newcastle again putting the pressure on West Ham. West Ham looking very, very ropey. At the back.
They're suffering.
The key here is Newcastle have to put the ball in the back of the net. You know, all of this pressure is great, but when you're not getting anything from it, it's you know, that's the problem. But the big boys are up. Lascelles is up. Carroll's up. Fernandez, all waiting.
Lascelles got a goal in it.
Shelby's taking the corner.
It's a lot of foreplay. We need to score.
Yeah, it is. You're right there. Over the bar from Carroll. Well over the top from Andy Carroll. Free header, really. But yeah, another wasted chance. Nearly 25 minutes on the clock. Martin, your take on Callum Wilson, please. I mean, he's, you know, as I say, a lot of expectancy on him, but he started off quite well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's been fairly impressive. I think comment was made earlier on. I think it was Spenny said, like, he's making some good runs and pulling defenders into the channels, which is opening up a bit of space. I think if we could maybe get ASM or Shelby a little further up, there seems to be a gap there. So I think he obviously knows where he's running. So yeah, impressive so far, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you miss with Almiron is his work rate. You know, he's a grafter, and I know a lot of people say there's not a great end result with him, but to be honest, today it's a good sub to come on. Newcastle on the offensive again.
Go on.
Hendricks with the ball in. Carroll chests it down.
Oh.
Wasted again.
Then he went to
Sir Maximum doing what he does best, but unfortunately didn't take the ball with him. And West Ham clear their lines, but it goes out for a throw-in. Lewis takes the throw.
I was going to say, Steve, that in that position that he had the ball there, that's what I mean, is that he always looks to go on his right. If he'd gone down his left, they're allowing him to do that. Yeah. He's just as dangerous going down his left than he is on his right. But he just needs to do it a little bit more often. Just to keep the defender thinking more than anything. Go on.
That was St. Maximin again, and Lewis on the overlap again. Yeah. It's certainly something which is impressing me, because these guys haven't played together. They've trained together, but they haven't played together. St. Maximin again. Go on. Lucky deflection. Oh, West Ham clear their lines.
I like what I see from Jamal Lewis so far. I think he might even be like our best pickup.
Yes, as well. I'll run the match at the moment, I think.
He's had a couple of really good deliveries so far, like that we've been missing completely from that position for the last couple of years. Two really good balls in so far.
Everybody else seems to be saying the same. Martin Burley liking the look of Lewis. Everybody seems to think the same. I think the beauty of it is he was up one end of the pitch trying to create a chance, and then as soon as you turn round, he was back in the back four, looking composed. Antonio gets through for West Ham, but Darlow manages to get down. It's an easy save. Newcastle again push forward. Shelby with a long ball up the right-hand side, but West Ham intercept. And
we did last season. He counter-attack all the time.
Yeah, it's an impressive start. It is an impressive start. I mean, the game's to and fro, and it has to be said. I do think Newcastle's had the better of it, but still 0-0. West Ham United 0, Newcastle 0. Daryl Wheatley says, we look so fit, full of energy. West Ham look a bit sluggish.
I think when we were looking at last season, like looking at some of the stats from Bruce's games, like we were just like really low on possession, really low on chances created, all those things. That's not been the story of this game so far. We've been quite the opposite, haven't we? We've had a lot of the ball, playing more of the ball, definitely. We've created definitely the better chances as well, so it's really encouraging so far.
Tom Lynch says ESM and Lewis are linking up very well. I have to agree, yes.
It's like we going forward and they're sitting back like we did last season. We sat back and them to soak the pressure up, didn't we?
West Ham on the attack again now, though, into the 18-yard area. Ball coming in. Oh, chance there. Newcastle United's defence there were absolutely pedestrian. And West Ham breached that back four. It was a great ball in. A free header. Darlow was static. Luckily, the ball went wide. Still 0-0.
Yeah,
seem to have real problems. Real problems there. And it's the same old with Lascelles essentially going up for a ball and not winning it. Thomas Suak Susek, of course, was the man who got in with a header. And Lascelles, sometimes it leaves me scratching my head. SJ says we're too predictable because we can't attack down the right like we go down the left because Hendricks isn't a winger like Saint. Newcastle's into the West Ham back four again. West Ham player down. I can't see who it is. Goalkeeper has it. West Ham player on his knees on the far side.
Just seems as though it's all going on the left-hand side, like Steve.
That's right. SGA says it's too predictable. It is too predictable at the moment. Trull says we need a goal in the first half, or they're getting nervous again. I mean, yeah, I can understand. We do need to start getting an end game to this.
Yeah. I'm not seeing anything from our central midfield. I think we need something like a Longstaff kind of injection or something that kind of gives them a bit of life. There's no kind of field general. I feel like Shelby is doing his passive, sitting back and kind of letting the game come to him as opposed to forcing the game forward. Yeah.
Kevin Nolan talking to David Moyes, looking at the television, of course, that they have down next to the dugout, and Kevin Nolan having a look at his old friend Andy Carroll elbowing somebody again and shaking his head. And probably a few years ago, of course, Nolan would have been quite happy with that. He'd probably give him a few pointers. But obviously, Kevin Nolan sitting alongside David Moyes tonight. West Ham bring the ball out of their own half. Still 0-0. Half an hour played at West Ham. Geordie Boy Gaiman predicts a rocky 2-1 narrow win as West Ham come on the attack again.
At this point, I'm predicting a 0-0 draw. I don't see anything
sitting on the front.
Counter 2-on-2.
Oh God!
Go on,
Shelby.
Shelby, far side.
Side net. What was a goal?
I saw the that was it.
Our one positive this whole half.
That was a great move. To be honest.
Wilson's running his quality.
2-on-2. Wilson creates the opportunity, running from his own half.
He lost the a little bit there.
Carroll made the run to pull the defender away, left it to Shelby, and when you see the shot from Shelby, he scuffs it. He scuffs it probably more with the instep of his boot, and it hits the side netting, which is unfortunate. That was a good chance. That was a really good chance. Newcastle should be one up with that. Clear cut. Newcastle's had the best chances in this game. Geordie Jedi says he should have scored. 100% right. 100% right. He should have scored.
Oh man,
it's a good game to watch for a goalless scoreline at the moment. It's not a 0-0 draw. Carroll's got the ball.
He did everything but score.
Great ball in from Manquillo, and again Carroll chests it down, bounces once, tries to hit it, and hits it over the top of the bar. I'm not sure if it took a deflection. I think it might have done. Is it a corner? He took it on his neck, not his chest. No. Typical Andy Carroll. No, not a deflection. Goal kick to West. It is. It's a corner.
Oh, yeah, it gets a nick.
I thought it was a corner. Yeah, it is a corner. So, can Newcastle take the lead? They deserve it. They deserve a goal here.
Come on, lads.
Phil Carty says Wilson's had more chances than Joe Linton had all last season.
What is the guy doing with his shorts?
Corner taken. West Ham get a header, but it's not clear.
We didn't even get
It is now. West Ham's on the attack.
Oh, God.
Men coming forward. Newcastle's got men back. Jamal Lewis again, right back in the thick of it.
He is canny.
He is very good, mate. West Ham, though, it's still a dangerous opportunity here, but again, Newcastle block it. Newcastle's got men back, and it's impressive to see everyone putting the effort in, getting back into the positions. The formation is certainly sticking. It's working. They know what they're doing. Every man seems to know what their job is. Even Shelby's getting back, and we all know how Shelby's a bit of a jogger in these situations.
I don't get the good feeling from Shelby. I don't know.
Well, I know what you mean. As I've said on the show. West Ham at the bar. West Ham hit the bar. West Ham are appealing for a penalty. They're appealing for a penalty here. Did it come off somebody's hand?
They're crossing the ball and they're getting the ball every time they cross the ball.
Fornals is appealing for something more than a corner here. Lascelles is just telling them to forget it. I'm not sure whether we're looking at VAR here. The referee's checking his earpiece. Never like the look of that.
Yeah, I never see Shelby end to end. You know, he does an impressive through ball, but I just don't feel like he just doesn't contribute enough to be a consistent starter.
Yeah, we're getting the replay now on Sky. Is it a corner? What are they appealing for?
I don't know what's happening.
Are we looking at VAR here?
No, it's not. I think he's
they're trying to say a handball by Lascelles.
No.
If they give a penalty for that, it's ludicrous.
That's a joke. There's no way is that a penalty.
I've got to be honest. When I watched Liverpool Leeds today, the opening goal in that game, I didn't think that was a penalty either. But it just shows you. The referees have the opportunity, of course, to go to the screen. It's now a corner. He's waved away any opportunity. West Ham take the corner. It's gone behind. Andy Carroll was well up there.
No one's talking today, Steve, at all in that defence. No one talking. No. You know where they are.
We jokingly said in one of the shows in the summer that Andy Carroll could play in the back four. I mean, he's probably the best winner of the ball in there today. Well, Lascelles is certainly not having a good day at the office as far as heading the ball's concerned.
Andy Carroll's man bun gives his headers like an extra couple inches.
Shelby clears the next corner. Newcastle's going to go. St. Maximin, 1-on-1.
Max.
He's got himself into position. Is anybody back in the ball? There's the ball.
Oh my God!
Shoot.
West Ham got players back now. Ball comes out. Is that Manquillo with the ball in? Carroll's in. St. Maximin. West Ham clear it. Put it behind for a corner.
They got 0 shots out of the house.
We need to put these away. We need to put one of these away.
That's the worrying thing, isn't it? Chance after chance now.
Jody Jedi's not happy with our defence. Darlow was in no man's land for the chance, but look, Newcastle's certainly at the races here. It's an encouraging start. West Ham certainly struggling. Yeah. Corner then. Here we go. Shelby with a corner. Newcastle need to take advantage of this pressure.
Oh, not bad.
Corner's too long. Cleared again. Newcastle get the ball low, and it's back with Darlow, believe it or not. All the way back with Darlow, who's wearing the rather snazzy pink goalkeeping strip, which nobody ever buys.
Except this year, all the lasses are buying the goalkeeper kit because it's pink.
Yeah, exactly.
They're loving that, weren't they, this year? They're all on it.
I think we'll have a couple of the girls. A couple of the girls are coming on at half time. I think they were having what's described as a nana nap. So we will be balancing this up with a few females.
I know that Red Rose Michelle got the pink strip. So
yeah, a lot of people saying we need a finisher. I keep making the point though, these players haven't played together, and if this is what they're like when they haven't played together. That can only bode well for the future for me. And I'm not usually an eternal optimist, but what I'm seeing from the likes of Callum Wilson and Lewis in particular really, really pleases me. And we haven't got Fraser on the pitch yet, but Hendricks isn't the kind of player that you're gonna be waxing lyrical about. He's coming in to do a job. Plenty of players who can replace Hendricks.
I think we're missing Mickey's pace. He's not a great finisher, but he has that pace. And I think we're just feels very sluggish and kind of in second gear. We need to kind of pick up the higher gear, and I think Mickey will provide that kind of dynamism, even if he's suspect on the finish.
I agree with that because it seems like Carroll's going on the right a lot now. He's going on the right hand side, crossing the balls in for him.
I'm really impressed by the energy levels so far. I'd say it's a first game of the season, and not a long pre-season, not a long break.
Yeah, really West Ham had a chance there, got through again. Ball well over the top. Both teams struggling. I'm not sure what game Emmanuel's watching, but maybe he's playing it on FIFA whilst he's watching the game. He just says goal, whether he's just. Wilf says there must be a delay on YouTube, or I'm living in the future. I'm in the Netherlands and you're about a minute behind me. Possibly. Well, maybe Emmanuel's got a goal. I'm not sure, but certainly no goal as far as we're concerned.
On Sky, it's about 35 seconds. Is when before I was in on the chat. It's like 35 seconds.
Yeah, well, one thing I do know is me and Pete are watching the same game, and Martin was 7 seconds behind last I heard. So I'm not sure whether the rest of the lads have caught up. Yeah. I think Terj says they're a few minutes delayed, so they must be watching on a different kind of feed. But we'll keep you as up to date as we can. If there's anybody ahead of us, you might.
What's it in Saudi?
That's a good
effort. Our lead. What minute is it in Saudi? We're in 39th minute.
I believe maybe 5 seconds late than you.
Callum Wilson got down the left-hand side there, tried a curling shot. One thing for certain, Wilson's not afraid to miss, and it's one thing Supermax said on the show on numerous occasions. Just continue to shoot. If you have 20 shots in a game and you only score 1 goal, so be it. But just keep shooting. Never be afraid to miss. That's what Malcolm always says.
Please let's not see him on warming up. I don't want to see him warming up. Coming in.
Who's that? Who?
I don't want to see Joe Linton subbing in for Wilson or something. Yeah. Or Carroll.
Ethan Beefan says, thoughts on Sunderland? I did happen to catch the result today. That's a fantastic 1-1 result at home against somebody we've got no chance of playing in the next few years. But I haven't really got much thoughts on Sunderland. I've got to be perfectly honest. They seem to be getting off to the same fantastic start.
Did they have a red card for violent conduct as well?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I didn't. I saw the score. They did manage to get an equaliser, didn't they, Sunderland today? I think Maguire scored for them.
The draw specialists.
Draw specialists, yep, that's right. Daryl Wheatley says Miggy for Hendricks.
100%.
Keep saying Hendricks, it's Hendrick. I keep getting told off for it.
I totally agree with Daryl. I'm 100% with Daryl, except for Hendrick. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Come on, Steve, get it right, please.
I know I've got to. It's because my mate Neil Jackson's made a film about Jimi Hendrix. I think that's why Jimmy's on my mind.
Yeah.
Something
we need
both Irish.
Both Irish.
They're all on the sideline.
Classic. Slight delay in play here. 5 minutes to go plus stoppages. 4 minutes to go, sorry, plus stoppages. And referee gets the game underway again in West Ham's half. I don't think we've done too badly, lads. We've managed to keep up to date as well as we could, and we've still got a few people watching, which is nice. Thanks to everybody who's watching tonight. If anybody does want to join as a member, please just go across the top and click membership. Big thank you to everybody who's done it. Mentioned everybody earlier on. Big thank you for doing that. It means a lot. It's helped us continue to do these streams. And big thank you to everybody for joining us for this experiment, because I think that's what we've got to call it. It was nice to have Supermac and John Gibson on a little bit earlier as well, and Joe Allen providing his own comedy by coming on, going off, coming on, going off, coming on, going off. He's finally given
it. Mark Ashley on for the next game, Steve.
Yeah, we should get him on. That would be a classic. Another break in play as St. Maximum gets fouled, and he's once again shrugging his shoulders and asking the referee why on earth nothing's getting done. Nobody has been booked for taking St. Maximum out of the game yet, and I think prediction from the lads about him maybe he's been one of the most foul players this season could be coming true. David Moyes claps and tries to give the West Ham team a bit of encouragement. Kassam 10, thanks very much for becoming a member. Much appreciated. What do you think of Newcastle's gameplay, says Tiny Bob? I think we're all impressed. We're all impressed.
Yeah, I'm holding out for a late Carroll winner here. So hopefully he gets a winner before he gets subbed off. He needs to score his first goal of the season. Our first goal since he didn't score it last year at all. So if he gets it out of the way of the first match, then we're good.
Yeah. We'll have a look at Tiny Bob. We'll go at half time. We've only got a couple of minutes left. We'll have a look at what everyone's feeling about the way we're playing. Macca Palman says they're kicking bits out of him. St. Maximum, you're right. It's an absolute disgrace. Been watching matches alone for a long time. This is a lot more fun. Thank you very much.
This is like having banter in the stands with your mates. So it's like we don't have any fans in the stands. So this is the next best thing.
$1.99 righty to become a member. Just click membership at the top. That's all it costs. As I say, I've spent quite a bit on the old StreamYard so that we can do this all the time. StreamYard sadly only limit you to 20 hours in a month, and then that's it. You can't do it. So that's why I did a lot of the early stuff on Zoom and on Skype. So what I've done is I've just paid for a full year for this. So that's great. If you want to become a member, please do. But as I say, nothing will change. Everyone will still get all the shows for free. What I might do is, though, when I start doing events as well, might be able to put some of the events on for members only, which would be nice for people. So need some maximum to avoid injury this season from all these fouls. He's vital to our threat going forward. Couple of minutes left plus stoppages. West Ham have got the ball, been fairly quiet over the last couple of minutes. Not a great deal of excitement in the last couple of minutes. West Ham get the ball forward again. Manquillo tries to win the ball, but West Ham have now got a throw in coming up towards the 18-yard line.
See, we got got the pies on.
Yeah, we need some food, lads. Domino's pizzas arriving at everyone's house would have been good, wouldn't it, or something like that? If we get more members, that's what we'll do. I'll just ship you some Domino's.
Yeah, get those sponsors.
I'm just glad there's no queue at half time for the toilets.
Well, that's right. Yeah. I'm glad he's all came suitably dressed, lads. Anyway, no one's sitting there in like a bathrobe or anything. I was expecting Spenny to come in some kind of bizarre outfit or something.
Well, the lasses were supposed to tell us to put a wig on.
That's how you keep trying to get on the women's show, Spenny, by putting a wig on. I've seen some of the lasses have said Spenny keeps asking if he can come on Monday night.
I think that's a different kind of show.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to have some of the girls, I think, join us. I think Sav's joining us, and I think Kendall's joining us a little bit later on, which will be good.
Oh.
So 1 minute of injury time. Another West Ham player lying on the ground as St. Maximin gets the ball. He's into the West Ham half. Slow pedestrian run. Lewis is on the outside, but he goes for Shelby in the middle.
Right,
passes the ball out wide. Is it Hendricks? I think Hendricks has got the ball wide right. Lays it back to Shelby. Shelby again. Punched the ball in. Bit of a hopeful ball. Carroll wins it. Hendricks gets the ball, but West Ham clear again. Clock ticking down, about 15 seconds left now. Jamal Lewis wins the ball. I think we'll get used to seeing that this season. Gets it up to St. Maximin. Someone's getting a phone call. Ball goes out to play. Rice is now down. Looks like he's winded.
No, that was fine.
Yeah, St. Maximum's been outstanding this off, but they're just replaying there. Rice has hurt himself trying to go through Hayden. He went up with his foot, he dragged his foot back, and he's injured himself as Hayden continued. So Rice struggling, but we're coming up to half-time, and that's it. Half-time whistle goes. Newcastle United managed to get to half-time, and it's 0-0 against West Ham. Got to be said, lads, to be honest, Newcastle have played well. Nathan, your take on the first half first, please.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of energy, a lot of movement in that final third, which is something we were lacking greatly last season. Really impressed with a lot of the link up, especially down that left hand side with Jamal Lewis and St. Maximin, and then when Callum Wilson's drifting over to that left hand side, they look really good, like linking up really well together. I think that's we're surprised because they've not played together, but I think when you've got a lot of clever players in the same team, they're going to be on some sort of a similar wavelength to each other. So it's really good to see. I think we've looked a bit shaky at the back at times. Like we've been quite sort of flat-footed on a few occasions when the ball's been put into the box and one thing and another. But yeah, I mean, you can't complain, can you? We've looked more threatening in that game than we looked in at any point throughout last season. To be honest, it feels like so. Yeah, more of the same.
Al Walid, somebody asking if you're in Starbucks in the private chat. Are you in Starbucks?
No, actually, but I make my place look Starbucks.
You make it look like Starbucks. That's an absolute classic, mate. It's an absolute classic. I can see it behind. I was wondering what it was. I was thinking, is it St. James's Park? Is it what? But no, it's Starbucks. All right. Okay. Anyway, what's your view on that first half then?
Actually, I'm happy so far. With the Newcastle performance, they look like more prepared for the season more than West Ham. West Ham looks they are suffering especially in prepare the attack. I'm sad for St. Maximin. I'm worried about him. His style I'm afraid we will lose him very quick this season for injury. I think he make it difficult for himself with this kind of play, and he will not. And he's good. He's good in counter attack. If there is a 2 player or 1 player ahead of him, but he can't dribble all the team of West Ham. Yeah. So I'm really worried about him. Wilson, I think I notice him. He keep turning his head. He's like still feel he's in Bournemouth. Maybe he was looking for Fraser to help him. He understand him or the chemistry between each other. So I guess I don't know. I'm not sure if Fraser will play tonight or he's ready for the game. At least if we couldn't get Fraser, I believe Almiron is needed. Shelby and Hayden, they are doing great. Hendricks, though, not bad for first game. One last thing, the cross. There is no crossing balls for Andy Carroll. We didn't get the best use of Andy Carroll because there is no. I didn't notice any good cross from the sides. I was expecting more cross from Jamal Lewis.
Yep. Okay. Good stuff. A couple of people asking questions about is this still live? Yes, it is live. We're going all the way through till 10 o'clock till the game finishes. So yeah, it is still live. Martin, your take on that first half, please.
Yeah, I thought we were good. As Nate said, I think a lot better than we looked the back end of last season. I think Wilson has done really well for the first game. I've liked what I've seen from Lewis so far, linking up with ASM. Yeah, maybe to Al Walid's point, a couple more crosses in the box. I mean, we've got Carroll in there, so I think we need to get a bit more service, in particular from the right. There's nothing really coming in that way. Defensively, still slight worries, as been said. We've been jumped a couple of times, and as much as West Ham haven't really had that much, they have hit the bar twice through 2 decent headers. But overall, yeah, I think it's good. Good start.
Yeah, good stuff. Samantha, who does Monday nights for us. Hi, Sam. She goes, good half. 4-4-2 doesn't suit the ASM. Think Wilson and Carroll should swap roles slightly and have Wilson right on the shoulders of the centre-back. Good point, Samantha, as always. Chris, your take on that first half?
Yeah, I'm sort of sensing that West Ham has shown nothing, and it's there for the taking. And I'm sort of getting the sense that how Newcastle traditionally played against like the bottom third club versus the top third club, on how they just don't seem to be as attacking and sort of going for it as they could be. I mean, I don't see any threat from West Ham. And yeah, of course, it's the first game, and we've got a bunch of new players that are trying to figure out how they link up to each other. But I just want to see them just kind of going more for it. I feel like with Shelby, like as mentioned, maybe Hayden kind of sitting back a little bit. We really need to take the attack to them and not be sitting back and kind of going for the counter attack that we go for against the top clubs.
Yeah, Katie, one of the lasses from Monday says, Lewis is everywhere, very impressed. Few more matches with the ASM. He will get better and better. I've got to agree. He's been absolutely superb, been the star tonight. Sean Wilson says, come on the 2. And Geordie Jedi says, yes, get Miggy in there. John O agrees with Samantha, says ASM better in the front 3. John says, for me, Hendricks is in the wrong position. Take Hayden off. He's sailing close to the wind, being sent off, and move Hendricks into the middle and Fraser on. Spenny, you're grinning like a Cheshire cat, lad. And then I've just seen the message. You've just won 110 quid. What were you betting on?
Irish lottery. 2 lines. Martin's the boy.
The Irish lottery?
You only need 3 numbers, lad. We only do it in halves over here.
Money goes to money. Money goes to money. That's all I'm saying, Spenny. Welcome to Kendall. We'll come to you in a second, Pat. Spenny, what's your view on this half? What's your view on the first half?
Well impressed with Lewis. Really am. Wilson, I'm impressed with him as well. He's had a good few shots in. Just needs to go on the target. We need to hit the target a bit more. That's about it, really. Defence-wise, centre half, the cells again, let them tie down a bit. It's all right with his mouth. He needs to do his feet, do the talking instead of his mouth.
Steve H is asking for BOQ service desk. It's a classic. I've seen a few things about that. Pete, what's your view on the first half?
Really pleased. As I said, I wanted to see an attacking intent, and we've seen that so far. Wilson's movement's been fantastic to watch. He's a proper striker. He knows how to pull defenders all around. The left hand side's linked really well. I want to see that from the right hand side second half. I do agree. Someone mentioned about Hayden. We might have to bring him off, and that's where Fraser maybe can come on and create something down the right hand side second half. But you know what? Really, really pleasing to see. We just need to take our chances now, because the longer this game goes on, if it would be absolute classic West Ham that we pummel them, and then they go and nick a goal and win the game. It would be absolute typical West Ham, and that's what we don't want. We get the first goal, I think we go on and win the game comfortably.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Cormac, you're asking where Daz is. He was invited, but he was otherwise engaged to going somewhere else. There was a couple of other people who couldn't make it tonight. Everyone was invited who does the shows for this first one. Kendall, great to be the first lady on tonight. Good to see you. What have you made of the first half?
Yeah, I thought it was all right, to be honest. It's more positive than negative, which is good for once. I thought Wilson's positioning compared to most of our other strikers just looked phenomenal from the off. I think it looked far better than anything we've seen for probably 2 seasons now. I just wanted to get the goal now. I think it's about time that he gets a goal. Him and Andy Carroll worked well, surprisingly. I'm very shocked, but Andy Carroll looks fitter than I've seen him for about 5 years, so that's probably a good thing. But he hasn't done pre-season for 4 years, I think he said. So it's worked in his favour. But yeah, I think we're looking all right at the moment. We just got to keep on top of it, to be honest.
Katie says she's got Keegan's hair, so we've got no chance of seeing her tonight. I had a similar message from Samantha, but she has joined us tonight. So yeah, I don't blame you, girls. I've suffered the same in the past. Like I used to have Keegan's hair. Well, I had a Chrissy Waddle perm actually. I didn't have Keegan's hair. Oracle says I've just got here. Watch the score. It's still 0-0, but Newcastle should be ahead. Nathan, quite quick on this one, because obviously we're going to be kicking off in the second half. Who would you like to see come on to change the game?
I'd like to see Almiron come on. Probably for Hendrick. See if they can move that around a bit. Give us a bit more pace and energy in that midfield. We've got a lot of pace up top now, but I feel like we need a little bit of something extra in that midfield. I think, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Al-Walid, who would you like to see come on in the second half to change things a little bit?
Maybe Fraser, if you have a chance to play.
Yeah, okay, Fraser. Martin, what about you? Who would you like to see come on?
Yeah, I'd say probably Miggy. I think Sam just popped up a message there saying take Hendrick off. It might leave Manquillo exposed. So I think that's a good shout. So I think we'll give it another, probably Bruce will give it another 10, 15, maybe Miggy, but like Owley, maybe Fraser on instead. But yeah.
Yep. John O says, Al-Walid, you're rocking out the Starbucks staff lounge. I've got to point out this is Al-Walid's house. He's got some kind of fixation with Starbucks, and he's decorated his house in Starbucks. I hope you paid for it, Al-Walid. You haven't just been to Starbucks and like writhed it up the wall, have you? And then placed it. I'm a bit. I think we need to talk about this off air in case we get you into trouble. I don't want you getting carted off. Yeah, Kendall, who would you like to see come on in the second half?
Yeah, just echoing everyone else's sentiments. I think Fraser would be nice to see, but I know he obviously hasn't played a competitive game since February or March, so we'll see what he's like. And Miggy, but I did have a feeling that Miggy would probably be left out just for tactical reasons. But I'd like to see him come on because obviously he's our second top goal scorer last year, so it'd be nice to see him on and see him start off the season in a good way.
Yeah, okay. Chris, what about you? Who would you like to see come on and change things around a little bit? Or would you keep it the same? I mean, Steve Bruce isn't one for making substitutions unless he's got to. And unfortunately, a lot of the time he's been at St James's Park, they have been forced upon him. But, would you change it now? Or would you give it a little bit of time?
Yeah, no, I want to see how Miggy works with these lads in there. To give more pace, give more attack. I feel like we're just not really going at the goal. So yeah, I put Miggy in there. I do want to see what Fraser has to offer, but I don't know if tonight if he's ready for tonight. But yeah, if they want to put two on, Almiron and Fraser.
Yeah, George McVeigh saying why change it. I don't think any of us are thinking about changing it. I just think if someone has to come on and change the game, George, I think that's the question I'm asking. If someone does come on, who would you like to see come on? I think for me, before we come to Spenny, I would seriously look at Hayden just simply because he's on that yellow card. That's the big concern. That's a big concern for me. Spenny, what about you, mate? Who do you think would come on and change the game?
If we have Messi, we'll put him on. But Fraser, it's got to be Fraser on the right because we're looking like we're weak on that right hand side for me at the moment. Take on himself.
Yeah, I would agree with you, mate. I think I don't think we'll change it. I wouldn't change it at the moment, but I think Almiron is the one who, could change the game a little bit. Pete, what about you, mate?
Like I said, I think I said earlier, Richie, Almiron, and Fraser need to be those three to come on to change the game. Particularly if we haven't scored. I know they said the Fraser hasn't played very much recently, but he's chomping at the bit. He wants to be on there playing, and we could easily get 25, 30 minutes out of him, even if he's running on fumes at the end. I think getting him on the pitch and having his creative spark could be the difference. So definitely those three would be my subs. Hopefully there's no injuries that has to change that, but I'm confident going into the second half. I'm looking forward to it.
As the coverage comes back onto Sky, we see that Ryan Fraser is still warming up, which looks good. And the stats coming up on the screen say he's combined with Callum Wilson for 12 Premier League goals, of course, in 2018, 2019. So it certainly looks like we will see a little bit from Ryan Fraser today. So obviously, as the adverts continue, we're getting close to the second half kicking off. So if you need to go and get a can or go and get a cup of tea or whatever you're doing, go and get it now before the second half kicks off. But me personally, I'm quite happy with the way things have gone tonight. I think for an opening game, it's panned out how I thought it would. But as I say, I'm really impressed with the way that the new players have come in, and especially the likes of Callum Wilson and Lewis in particular. Those two have really, really shone. But the fact that they haven't had a competitive game with Newcastle United's players, I think it speaks volumes for the quality, and I think it shows the difference when Mike Ashley does put his hand in his pocket as he's had to. When you buy Premier League players, you get Premier League performances, and the team are now coming back down the tunnel. Newcastle United are out first as well, eager to get back out onto the pitch by the looks of it. So we'll let you know if there's any changes before we kick off in the second half. And a couple of people asking how they can join. If you go to the top of the YouTube page, you can just see memberships. Click on membership, and if you want to donate, please do. As I say, nothing's changed with the channel. You can still watch the channel entirely free. Just an opportunity really for me really to try and recoup some of the money that I've spent on paying for StreamYard for the full year, which I was quite happy to do because I've enjoyed doing these shows. And tonight is just an experiment. If everyone enjoys it and the viewing figures are good and people have enjoyed doing it, I'm more than happy to continue doing it, certainly through the September matches, because obviously we're all stuck at home. None of us are going to be going to the games, and let's see what happens with people returning to football matches, which of course doesn't seem likely anytime soon. And for those of you who live around the world, unfortunately, Newcastle and Gateshead are now on the watch list and could potentially be shut down over the next couple of weeks again into a lockdown situation because of the rise in R rate with COVID. So bit of a nightmare for all of us up here, which of course means that there will be no football returning to St James's Park anytime soon. But with the recent announcement by the government, Boris Johnson, of course, saying that they will probably be reviewing people returning to stadiums, it doesn't look like we'll be going back to football, I would say, this year. Certainly not in big numbers. But let's see. The teams are all out now. David Moyes walks through a whole host of bubbles as that nauseating song gets played down at West Ham's ground. Kevin Noble is standing over the ball, and we're getting ready to kick off the second half. And the second half is now underway, guys and girls.
Come on, boys.
Want more of the same, don't we?
Yeah. Need to put a finish in there, though.
Somebody is asking, Barry's asking if Al Walid has been arrested for obviously the signage, potentially. Either that.
maybe he's got a brew on the go.
He's getting sponsored to be on your videos.
Maybe that's what he's doing. He'd be getting a hell of a lot more money from Starbucks than I am from asking people to become members.
That was a good knock from Shelby.
It was, yeah. Big thanks to Billy Miller for joining up as well, mate. Much appreciated. Thanks very much for that. So, ball back again with Darlow. Funko Freddy has got 81-1 for us to win, 4-1 tonight. Thought it was worth the daft quid in the second half. Is out like the first. Out can happen, he says. Russell Johnson's going for 2-0 to Newcastle. Katie says she'll be back after a minute. She'll be back later. Yeah, okay. Go on, Chris. You were going to say something.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say predicting second half goals from Carroll and from who else? For both our strikers. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Wilson and Carroll.
Wilson and Carroll, yeah. As I said earlier in the chat, Carol Wilson. It sounds like a 1960s soul singer.
Yeah, it does, man. It does. Stephen Parker's going for 3-1. Okay, West Ham have the ball, obviously, on the halfway line. Newcastle intercept again, though.
I just think it makes the most sense for Carroll to get his first goal against his old squad. It just do poetic justice, you know.
The good thing about tonight's game has been that Newcastle have certainly been, better at winning the ball back. They've been first to the first ball and first to the second ball tonight. There's certainly a bit more urgency about Newcastle's team.
That's a lovely ball, that.
Great ball out again.
Go on.
Newcastle steaming forward.
Not changing
the
squad.
Go on.
Takes a deflection.
Side.
Carroll in at the back post, but back four on top of things at West Ham.
Left there.
Is that a corner? Is it a corner?
Yeah, it's a corner to Newcastle.
It's a lovely knock in, that, to be fair.
And he gets this ball here. If he'd have gone left,
yeah,
Carroll was in.
Callum Wilson with the ball in, took a deflection. Carroll came in at the back post, completely missed it, but the defender came in and cleared the ball and goes behind for a corner. Newcastle again send the big boys up. The Cells is in there. Hayden, Fernandez, Carroll, corner whipped in. Again, cleared by West Ham. Hendricks picks the ball on the edge of the box and Newcastle pass it back to Darlow. Something we've seen throughout the game, that when the ball's been cleared, straight back to Darlow, no messing around. Took a chance there with the forward, but Manquillo's got the ball. Manquillo crossfield ball. Cleared again by West Ham, but picked back up by Newcastle again in the midfield position. Yeah, it's impressive. Newcastle are definitely, Newcastle are definitely up for this game, which it's a massive positive for me to see them play like this.
Ooh.
They're certainly being told to bring Darlow into the game and use Darlow. Darlow constantly at the edge of his box.
I think some of Wilson's hold-up play has been really good as well.
Yeah.
Funko Freddy says we're 90 seconds ahead of him. He says we must be on fibre optic.
IQ.
No, David, I certainly think you can. Just go to memberships at the top. It might not work on an iPad, mate. If you're on an iPad, it might not work on that. Get yourself onto a computer or a phone. You'll definitely be able to do it. Jamal Lewis has looked solid on his debut. I think we've all agreed he's probably been so far the outstanding player.
Yeah, man of the match.
That's in play, Steve.
Yeah.
You know that Daniel Fox?
Mm-hmm.
He's saying the takeover is going to be done next week.
Oh.
Is this the guy who was doing that war fund?
No.
Yeah. I'm not sure Daniel Fox is well informed as nice guy, nothing against him. Always get the major questions on here. What's Pete eating? Chinese?
You know what? I'm eating salmon cakes. I tried to be as discreet as possible because about 15 minutes before half time, it was ready, and I was so hungry, but I didn't want to miss anything.
I love it.
So salmon cakes, and a few veggies there as well. Just mix it up a little bit.
James Smith's obviously watching a video from yesteryear. He's got Newcastle United winning 1-0. I think we're getting a little bit of this wind up, like with people as if they're watching some kind of extraterrestrial feed, like. But you expect a little bit of ribbon when you're doing something like this. But I don't mind putting your comment up, mate. So yeah, West Ham again got the ball. Newcastle probably not as adventurous in the opening 5 or 6 minutes of this second half, but West Ham certainly not doing anything either. Not a great deal of action going on. It's what you expect, really. Newcastle, as I say, have dominated this game in the offensive areas. West Ham just stroking the ball around, just trying to keep possession. Newcastle waiting for the opportunity to pick the ball back up. Andy James says Hugo Viana scored.
Oh.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's quite a quiet start of the second half. Not just because Pete's eaten.
I'm afraid to have anything now.
Alwaleed's now. Yeah. Alwaleed's back in Starbucks. People were worried.
Every team is.
You've been arrested, Alwaleed. Somebody asked, has Alwaleed been arrested?
Why?
Because they thought you'd been arrested because of your Starbucks sign.
No. I believe the two sides, everyone waiting the other team to make a mistake.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going to be draw, maybe.
Yeah, I sort of said earlier a 0-0 draw was what it looked like, but I'm still holding on. Late Carroll goal.
Yeah, some team need to make more risk to get the win.
Barry Hogan's concerned. He says, "Please, can you tell me if Joe Linton gets warmed up so I can go to bed?" Get Silvio Marichon. God, remember him? What blast from the past that was. He came. He was going to be the next big thing, and he got a horrendous injury and was never the same player. George Hayes, thanks for joining, mate. Thanks for becoming a member.
Surely this is a booking. Surely.
Finally a booking.
Yay!
So Maximin gets the ball, takes a control, and yes, he's scythed down by a West Ham player, but unbelievably, the referee has pulled the yellow card out. He must be thinking he's gone nearly 55 minutes into the game. He can't get away with it. But Ryan Fredericks has finally been booked for West Ham for scything St. Maximin down.
Do you reckon that Joe Linton might get on then? Because we know that Steve Bruce seems to like him. Do we reckon he'll get on?
It's an interesting question, that, Nathan. But I would say he probably won't today. I don't know. I've just got a feeling he won't. But what do you guys think? Alwaleed, will Nathan? Do you think he'll get on?
Nathan, yeah, I think he will. I think he probably will because I think Bruce has got a bit of a soft spot for him. He stuck with him through thick and thin last season, didn't he? So maybe he will. Yeah, I think there's a good chance he might do.
I think he had no options though last season, though, Nathan. That's the difference.
Yeah, true. Might be in his contract, like you said, though, Steve. Maybe
it could be. Yeah, it could well be. I mean, he does have the number 9 shirt, but I think you could be right. He has got a bit of faith in him. What about you, Pete? Do you think we'll see Joe Linton get on?
No, I'd be surprised. And the reason I say that is because actually towards the end of restart, he wasn't starting him, and he was on the bench when he could have started him. And for me, that seemed to signal a change in Bruce's mentality, as if to say, right, I've done what maybe the club have wanted me to do by starting him all the time, but now I'm going to do what I want to do. And he clearly doesn't see him as a starter. So for me, like I said, I think there are a lot better options on there, and a game that's still wide open is still available to win. I'm sorry, I don't care if he's number 9 or not. He is not the man to be bringing on the pitch.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Newcastle on the attack again.
Go on. Oh, yes!
The goal.
Yes! Get in! Wilson
scored.
Get in.
6-1. Get in there.
Yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
That was needed. Get in, Wilson.
So the ball gets.
I always get scared of the VAR or something. I get used not to celebrate until I make sure.
Right back.
Yes.
So I'm halfway there with my prediction. Now I need a Carroll goal, so we get 2.
Hendricks flicked the ball on after a great cross, and Wilson steered it past with the outside of his right boot into the corner. And Newcastle United take the lead at West Ham. Much deserved. The goalkeeper came out, tried to punch the ball like that. Wilson then got his right foot in the way and steered the ball in, but it was the Hendricks flick at the near post, which was the crucial touch. Wrong-footed the goalkeeper and the defenders, and Wilson scored. And that's what you want from a striker who you bring in to score goals. A goal on his debut, and that was a fantastic finish. Everybody's delighted with that, and well deserved. 55 minutes and 24 seconds in.
Go on.
West Ham 0, Newcastle 1, and Newcastle are on the challenge. Newcastle are on the attack again.
Unlucky.
It was a case of like right place, right time, wasn't it, there for Wilson? But that's something that we were lacking last season with Joe Linton. He just wouldn't be in that. He wouldn't be where he needed to be when the ball's dropping like that, second ball. So
that's the difference with quality.
West Ham get the ball in. West Ham get the ball in. Lascelles goes flying across and heads it out. That's a great header. That's the best header of the day from Lascelles. Ball gets to St. Maximin. Maximin picks it up on the halfway line now.
Go on.
He's got the West Ham back 4 at 6s and 7s. The ball's played out wide again. Manquillo's got the ball. Manquillo though slows play it down, heads it back to Shelvey. Shelvey's got it just over the halfway line, and the ball's spread across and played back. Newcastle keeping ball now, very sensibly keeping ball. Don't want to make a mistake and give a goal away just after taking the lead, settling the play down. The ball's played long to Carroll though. Carroll wins the ball. St. Maximin picks it up, crosses the ball in. Corner ball. West Ham at 6s and 7s here, and the ball from St. Maximin was right on Wilson's head. Diop got in, headed it out for a corner. Wilson giving St. Maximin a little bit of advice, but he's smiling, Wilson. He's enjoying this.
The one thing that we need to do, guys, is, and we've done this the last few seasons at West Ham, is that we've done the hard part by getting up and winning, but then we just seem to drop back and start to defend. We need to keep attacking them. We need to put pressure on. That's where the subs are going to be key.
You need to kill the game.
Because, look, let's face it, for nearly 60 minutes, they've not really caused a massive threat. They've had 1 or 2 chances, but they've not looked dangerous in play. Like I said, apart from set pieces in play, they've not created anything. And if we keep pushing them back, we've got a great chance to get even another goal. But fantastic from Wilson. Absolutely buzzing for him.
Steve, that's my prediction in the 90th minute, because you haven't asked for how my score is.
Yeah. Well, we didn't because you joined us late. What was your? You're a betting man, obviously. What was your bet tonight?
Wilson, the first goal, 6-1, at a 5 runners.
Fantastic, mate. West Ham again pushing on, but Newcastle again, fantastic defending. Great ball down. Just the balls that Newcastle are playing tonight, they're not in as last season where they were playing a ball into space and Joe Linton wasn't connecting, wasn't getting there. There's people actually on the end of these balls 9 times out of 10. There's the odd wayward ball, but most of the time Newcastle United are actually playing the ball to feet, or Andy Carroll's winning the ball and somebody's running off. That's the difference today. That is the difference. There's players who actually want the ball and people who are actually trying tonight, and it makes a hell of a difference.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say that my experience with Newcastle is that they're always a better record when they score first, but then you're always at the same time wondering how they scored too early, and then you wonder how do they protect a 1-0 lead, and are they sort of the right balance of sort of defensive and aggressive to control that. So you're always wondering, you always want to see them push on and get more than a 1-goal lead, but I feel like a 1-goal lead with Newcastle is never safe.
Don't win many 1-0s, like, do we?
No. We'll see.
Come on.
Do you think we need a substitution now to be made?
Yeah, I would take Hendrick off.
I think we'll see. I think the first substitution today will be Fraser. I think we'll see Fraser come on.
What about Miggy?
I just think he fancies giving Fraser a run out, especially with Newcastle leading 1-0 now. I think he might want to link Fraser up with his old partner Wilson. I think if he does it early enough, we might see another goal, and then we might see Wilson chasing that hat trick that a lot of people predicted. West Ham corner, Newcastle clear. West Ham picked up again on the edge of the box.
I'm concerned about Fraser's match fitness, but if he can come in, that'd be great. But I don't know. We'll see.
West Ham get the ball in, but Newcastle clear the lines again. It's out for a throw-in. Ball lands amongst all the West Ham substitutes. Lascelles tries to get the back four organised again. Simon Davis said some tired legs out there. 65 minutes, get Fraser and Miggy on. Run the legs off West Ham. That's the best way. Best defence is attack. Simon, I'd have to agree with you, mate. Get the legs on. We've got plenty of legs on the bench. Andy James says he'd take Carroll off. Bring Miggy on to exploit West Ham. High pressure. Good idea, mate. Good idea. It's a pity we haven't got a direct line to Steve.
I want to see Carroll get that goal versus his old squad. I think he's due.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would like to see him do that. Samantha says take Carroll off. He's been fantastic in both halves. Completely disagrees with you, Andy. But
oh God.
Mike Ashley's got a mask on, and I've got to say it's a vast improvement as the camera pans. No surprise he's sitting on his own.
I don't see his Twitter open to his Twitter account.
I am going to take a photo of this and use full advantage of it at some point on my phone. There we go.
I'd say he's watching us.
It would have been nice if Amanda Stable had been sitting just next to him. Like that would have been a nice picture for Luke Edwards in particular. But yeah, Ashley masked up says Geordie Jedi, just like your dad, Darth Vader.
I do worry about potentially taking Hendrick off, just because I think the three of the centre midfielders, or how it may seem with Hendrick, Shelby, and Hayden, I think they've marshalled the defence really well. I think they've looked after the defence, and we don't want to disrupt that, particularly if we're still 1-0 up.
It would have been nice if Amanda Stable had been sitting. Yeah. Yeah, but Steve, welcome, Steve. We've got you there, mate. But you've just I think you've got the sound on a little bit loud, mate. We'll be in now. You can knock the sound. That's it. We can hear you now, Steve. We can hear you now. Sorry, Pete. Go on, mate.
I was just saying about. I'd be a little bit concerned if Hendrick did come off, because I think Hendrick, Shelby, and Hayden have really marshalled the defence and looked after the defence really well. And being 1-0 up, you don't want to disrupt that. Although you want attacking players to come on, you want to keep the system quite tight as well. So I'm not sure if Carroll might be risked at some point, just to give a little bit of pace, just to drag us up the other end of the pitch. Be interesting to see how it works. Maybe even Shelby comes off and we go for grafters, really dig in and do a shift in the last sort of 25 minutes or so.
Yeah, West Ham looking to make some changes as Kevin Nolan starts getting the numbers board ready. Steve Hasty, welcome to the show, mate. What's your take on the game so far?
Playing really well, controlled football, and that's it. That makes a change. I mean, listening to you guys, you've been doing fantastically well, keeping me informed, because I've been about 45, 50 seconds behind you. And I think that what you guys have been saying is correct. We're holding the ball up well. We're moving it well. There's a lot of movement and a lot of work going on among the team. It's not individuals. It seems to be quite a good team performance.
Yeah, it has been. I think it's been fantastic. Thanks for that, Steve. We weren't sure. We've enjoyed doing it. I think everyone's enjoyed doing it. We've all had a bit to say, and it's been an experiment, as I say. For those of you tuning in, we've never done this before. A little bit difficult, really, when we're all on different streams and different television connections. But we got there in the end, and we're up to date as Newcastle are on the attack again. And there's been a lot of balls down the right-hand side in this second half. Newcastle really trying to exploit that full back position on the left at West Ham, and it certainly paid dividends. And Hendricks has certainly played his part in this second half. He's winning ball after ball, and Manquillo again for me. I know we're looking at signing potentially another right back, but it's been good. Steve Agnew getting in a little bit of a tangle there with Antonio, and Agnew losing his rag. Steve Bruce having a stand and play mediator, but Antonio and Steve Agnew now getting warned by the referee. I've never seen Steve Agnew as animated in all my life, to be honest. It's just getting replayed again. He's actually barged Agnew out of the way, which is quite funny. Agnew went, for want of a better expression, nearly went arse over tit. After the week we've had with Newcastle United, I'm half expecting to see Mike Ashley running down from the stands and starting to chin somebody, because it's been that kind of week following Newcastle. But West Ham have got the ball anyway. Yeah, go on.
I wanted to get the lad's impression of Darlow so far. Have we not seen enough challenge from him to really assess how he's doing? As the first choice keeper so far.
Well, I'll give my opinion. I thought Darlow's had a pretty decent game. He's been quick off his line. He's done what he's had to do. Hasn't really been massively tested, but so far so good. I don't want to put the dreaded jinx on him. Martin, what's your take on him so far?
Yeah, I think he's had a good game. He's done the basics very well. He's distributed well. He's been out when he's needed to. He's not taking any real risks. It obviously seems a game plan for them to pop the ball back to him rather than run any risk, which I think you said earlier. So, he's played well.
Wow! There we go. Right on cue.
Just as we're talking, Darlow pulls up a fantastic save. He dives in amongst the boots, but there's a referee. The referee's got his fingers to his ears as if he was checking for VAR, but Newcastle clear the lines. But it was a great save amongst the boots by Darlow. The action continues. The referee seems to have waved it away. I don't know whether we're going to go back and take a check here. The cameras of Sky are focused on Hendricks as if there's some kind of problem. There's a card coming out for somebody. I'm not sure who it is. And it must be Hendrick, is it? Or is it Antonio? Antonio, who's got a bee in his bonnet, is certainly getting amongst it and winding people up. If he's not pushing Steve Agnew, or if he's having a pop at somebody else. The replay shows here that the ball struck Hendricks' shoulder in the box. It was like an armpit. It didn't strike his hand at all.
Armpit.
His arm was down. His arm was down. It wasn't in an unnatural position.
It was right
off the shirt. That's the new rule, is it not?
Yeah.
Well, just because it hits it doesn't necessarily mean it's a penalty, does it?
Manquillo's now been booked for a rather rash challenge on a West Ham player who I didn't quite catch. Referee's now having a chat with David Moyes. He's obviously saying now that the new rule states that isn't a penalty, David. And David looks about as happy as he did when he was managing Sunderland.
Man United.
Kevin Nolan, the man who scored a hat-trick, of course, against Sunderland, is now going on and shaking his head. The good news is it's not a penalty against Newcastle. West Ham have got to get on with it. Moyes and Noble look absolutely miserable as West Ham try and pump the ball into the Newcastle back into the Newcastle half. So still 1-0 to Newcastle. 69 minutes on the clock. West Ham have got the ball. Another foul. It's a maximum foul again. It must be in double figures now, the fouls against the maximum. The referee, again, is going to be sending a lot of paperwork to the Premier League because that's another booking. West Ham player standing with his hands out looking innocent, but another foul. Andy Carroll put his man off, and it's a horrendous foul on Sir Maximum. He's down again. Absolutely awful. West Ham have just done their best to kick Sir Maximum out of the game, but I've got to be honest, he's cracked on. He's just cracked on, done his job, been absolutely outstanding again today. He hasn't been given the chance to play, but he's ignored it. The referee, as I say, going to have a lot of paperwork to fill in tonight. A lot of people asking, do you think, Jennifer Smith's asking, will West Ham be relegated? On this, I would say probably, probably they're not looking the greatest, but they always seem to pull out of it. But I've got to be honest, lads. David Moyes as a manager or as a coach, he doesn't inspire you, does he?
Nah, not at all. I mean, West Ham have always been a club that have had a little bit of money and have been able to invest in players and get players that probably the club shouldn't attract, but they do purely because they're based in London, not because they actually want to play for the club or the history of the club. And a lot of the time and a lot of the season, that tells in the performances. And their performances are guys that are individuals that are not playing as a collective team and really are just there to get the paycheck in order to, put in a few odd performances to get a move to a bigger club. That's purely what it is. And I've found that, and that's why a lot of the seasons they are in relegation battles, because for a long part of the season, their best players don't necessarily turn up.
Yeah.
I think he did a fabulous job at Sunderland. To get him back.
West Ham on the attack here, looking a bit dangerous. They're into the box. Newcastle closing down again, though. Ball whipped in. Anyone at the back post? Yep. Lascelles clears the ball again. Lascelles has had a better second half. Steve, I think, the first half he looked a little bit dodgy, I thought, but I think the second half he's done quite well.
Yeah, he has. He's done very well. I think they haven't been exactly pushed, haven't been ran at, have they? What they've had is they've had crosses that they've had to cut out. There hasn't been anybody running at them. West Ham don't seem to have anyone in the team that's capable of picking up the ball and running at our defence. And we all know that wasn't a bit of an Achilles heel in the past. But we seem to be containing them very, very well. I think the midfield's working quite strongly. I'm wondering what the lads think of possibly, as the game gets into its closing stages, whether they would perhaps take Andy Carroll off and bring Sean Longstaff on.
Holding
the midfield, but also giving us that more of an attacking option, playing as a number 10 perhaps for the last 10 or 15 minutes. I know we've all been talking about Almiron coming on, or bringing on somebody of that ilk, but I'm wondering whether or not that's where Bruce might go for. I just wondered what the lads think.
It's a good shout, Steve. Chris, what do you think of that?
I do want to see some changes making on. We see a possible injury here, so I'd like to see Almiron come on. Maybe Fraser. We'll see. No.
Jesus Christ.
No, definitely not.
Big Joe's coming on. Big Joe's coming on.
For why? For what?
Hayden's took a knock. We're not sure whether Hayden is going off yet, but I would presume he is. But
why would you bring for Hayden?
Because we are ahead 1-0.
Yeah. Now I did say last night that I am going to give Joe Linton a chance, guys. So I'm not going to be critical. Big Joe Linton's coming on. He's our number 9. Let's see what happens.
Are they bringing him on for Carroll? I don't.
Yeah, it looks like Hayden's going back on here.
Yeah, Hayden could be going. Hayden is going back on at the moment. Joe Linton.
Joe Linton for Carroll.
Carroll. I just don't like that.
Jennifer says Big Joel and Wilson is better than Messi and Neymar. Yes, Wilson scored. So Maximin's on the ball anyway. Into the half, gets the ball to Hendricks. Hendricks plays the ball back neatly again to Manquillo, who's running off the ball. Nice little link up between those two again. Great ball by Hendricks. Nearly. Newcastle United nearly go 2-0 up. That was a great play from Hayden. Long range shot by St. Maximin, flies over the bar. But that was great work again. Fantastic little ball by Hendricks. And
playing well now.
linked up well with Manquillo, got the ball into Wilson at the near post. Wilson, though, couldn't connect. The ball then came out to Alan Maximin, who blazed the ball over the bar. But look, Newcastle playing really well, been some great link-ups. Most fouls won today, Alan Maximin 8. No surprise there for Newcastle United. The most foul player, as we said, possibly could be replacing our friend at Aston Villa. Alan Maximin is going off, and Joe Linton is coming on. Substitution made, 75 minutes played, exactly on the clock, 15 minutes to go in this game. Newcastle United winning by 1-0. That goal scored, of course, by new signing Callum Wilson after an assist by Hendricks at the near post. So let's hope Newcastle can keep a hold of this. Let's hope they can keep a hold of this. Hendricks was awful first half, much better second half, says SJ. Yeah, there's a few players improved in this second half, and Newcastle United look as if they are still wanting to push on for a second goal. Let's see whether Big Joe can do it.
Yeah, we need a whole new Joe Linton attitude this year. He needs like a personality transplant.
He has to have a clause in his contract. Ridiculous, says Simon Davis about Big Joe coming on. Al-Walid, Joe Linton coming on. Are you happy?
No, not much, because I believe if it was 0-0, it will they will not make him play. I guess that maybe he want to give him a chance. I read an article before, a statement for Steve Bruce. He said he's more regarding Wilton. He's a team player. He still sees something in him. Still, we didn't see it yet.
Yeah. Okay, Martin, what's your take on Big Joe coming on?
Yeah, look, as you said, clean slate. I think I probably would have been more inclined to maybe take Hayden off, push Hendrick back a bit, and bring Fraser on for the 15. But look, it is what it is. Let's see what he does. Give the lad a chance, but I think he's definitely got to improve from where he was last season. But no, we'll give him a chance.
Kassam 10 says, Big Joe, hey Steve, what a turnaround from you. Yep, I did say I was going to give him a clean slate. It's a clean slate for everybody. Let's see where we'll go. Spenny Mag, Big Joe Linton's on. Are you happy?
I think it's a joke. He's had no pre-season, so why put Fraser on? He's had no pre-season. It's the same sort of thing.
Yep.
He hasn't even played any games. He went missing for 3 weeks. They went out where he was.
Yep. Okay. Andy James says, how is Carroll still on? Done well, but he's done nothing for ages. Has Joe lost weight, or is that a stupid haircut he's got rid of? So I'm pleased to see that he hasn't got the old claret and blue haircut, which somebody predicted last night. You're all correct. Joe Linton will have a clean slate, says Ian Hutchinson. Joe Linton on the ball anyway. First real touch of the ball. He's got it back again after a link up with Shelvey. Lucky deflection, falls to Hendricks. Hendricks does a little shimmy. Back to Joe Linton. Joe Linton squares it to Shelvey. Shelvey, West Ham managed to get that away. Still on the edge of the box though. Carroll makes a false run and doesn't put a challenge in for a ball. Was a bit disappointing with that, but West Ham now bringing the ball up to the halfway line. 78 minutes on the clock. He's had one of those fairly anonymous games, hasn't he? But he hasn't not grafted. That's the positive. There he is on the edge of his own box again. So he's certainly doing the defensive side of the game. He just hasn't had much luck up front. He's put a lot of World Cup balls in, Shelvey, today. Sean thinks it was too early to take ASM off. Trim My Beard says, bad move, Joe Linton won't change.
I think with regards to set max, I think maybe around the 80-minute mark is probably the right time. We're going to have to manage him. He's so dynamic. I think I said it the last time. He's so dynamic is that he cannot do that time in, time out for 90 minutes every single game. He needs that rest. So by 75, 80 minutes, he's finished in terms of his productivity. So I'm not against him coming off, but I would have brought someone on that has that same ability in Fraser for the last 15 minutes. Surely with his training that he's been doing, he's got 15 minutes of him in him to be explosive. Surely.
Antonio whips the ball in. Fernandez clears behind for a corner. 79 minutes on the clock. Newcastle still winning 1-0.
So he needs winning scoring, like.
Squeaky bum time, says NUFC 3920. Jennifer seems to think that Joe Linton will score. Let's hope it's in the right end. It's a corner at the minute for West Ham. Stephen Parker, ASM had a few knocks tonight. He'll be sore tomorrow, definitely. Joe Linton will do something as West Ham take a shot. It's long range, but it goes wide. Darlow goes down, but there was no need. Not sure whether it's taking a deflection again. Has it gone behind for a corner, or is it a goal kick? Carroll again with a defensive header. It took a deflection there, I think. Yeah. Corner again to West Ham. Newcastle still haven't cleared this. West Ham take the corner, whip the ball in. Newcastle clear. Well out. Falls to the West Ham player on the edge of the centre circle. Out wide. West Ham still attacking, but Manquillo nips in, clears the ball down the line. And it's out for a throw into West Ham. Yeah, 80 minutes on the clock now. Manquillo's played well as well, guys. I've got to be honest. I think Manquillo's had a decent game. You know, he did well under Rafa. He's done well under Steve Bruce as well. You know, it's good to see. You know, he's a reliable right back. Yeah,
I think he's linked up really well with Hendrick as well.
Yeah, he has very well, and not just in the sense that he's been there behind him and doing the defending. He's took a leaf out of Lewis's book on the left, and he's overlapped well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
That's the thing. That both fullbacks have managed to overlap and both put a ball in. West Ham back in control again, but Newcastle managed to clear the lines. Ball comes to Shelby in the centre of midfield. Shelby takes his time, passes the ball out, and West Ham clear again.
Not keeping possession at all, are we? Not keeping possession at all.
Wilson back in his own half now as well, which is great. Rice has got the ball for West Ham. Newcastle keeping the ball in the right areas. They're making the challenges in the right areas, and it'll be a travesty, to be fair, if Newcastle don't win this game. I've got to be perfectly honest. And it's it's an away game. We've actually made this look like a home game at times, which is probably the biggest compliment you can pay to Newcastle tonight.
Yeah,
that's great defending by Lewis as well.
We should take advantage of this case.
Yeah, no, we should do. Yeah, we should. This will be a travesty if it's not 3 points to Newcastle tonight. It really will be. Byron, he says we're starting to be second to the ball in the middle now. There's some tired legs out there. Yeah, I would agree. It's very hard to keep that kind of pressure on and keep that momentum up. But Newcastle are certainly doing their best.
Well done.
Collison says, had fans been allowed in the ground, Bruce would have been getting hounded now for that change. It's disgraceful. John Gandhi's got a bad feeling, feels it's going to be 1-1. SJ, look how deep we're playing. No high pressing at all. Let me hide behind my pillow. Ball in again. Newcastle under pressure again. It's another corner to West Ham. Lewis, unfortunately, having to put the ball out there. The clock's still ticking though. 82 minutes played. Newcastle
he's
picking the men. Sean just says Lewis is looking good. He certainly is. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really played well tonight. Miggy warming up. Simon Davis has seen that as well. Carl Darlow collects quite easily. No pressure there from the West Ham forwards as Newcastle United keep a hold of the ball. West Ham are going to struggle. There's no doubt about it. Looking at this. Miggy or Fraser would be handy here, I think, guys, just to turn it around. Somebody standing on the sidelines there. I'm not sure who it is.
The Clark. Oh.
Miggy, is it?
It doesn't look like Miggy, that's for certain. Look too big for Miggy. I can't see who it is. Daz Shocks, hello son. Champions League spot, he says, as it stands. You're not wrong. As we know, Daz is the eternal optimist on our shows when we tune in every Sunday. I'm looking Champions League spot. I love it, Daz. Absolute classic.
I think Miggy's coming on.
Almiron, it is. Almiron is coming on. Great to see. Great to see Steve Harper down there as well. Steve Harper on the sidelines.
Wilson's coming up.
Oh wow! Surprised by that.
Well, he can't be saying he's bringing him off to get applause from the crowd, which is the usual excuse when someone's had a good game.
I'd have left it.
I would have left Wilson. I'd have left him. Yeah.
I'd have done it closer to the
Not
90
today. I
minutes.
didn't need a goal, don't we?
So it's Callum
It's
Callum Wilson off and Miguel Almiron on. That will certainly put the West Ham defenders on the back foot, you would presume, with Almiron's pace. Maybe it's not a bad thing. I know it would have been nice to see Wilson get another goal, but with 5 minutes left, do we really want to risk the man who could get us a goal in the next game? I don't know. It's all about opinions. Almiron coming on will certainly have him on the back foot. He's going to have a bit of pace about him. Almiron gets the ball straight away, puts it down the left-hand side.
Go on.
Newcastle in the box. West Ham clear again. Ball stop. Players stop for a free kick. West Ham take it quickly on the edge of their own area. Newcastle again closing down. Just under 5 minutes left, and then whatever the referee's got left on his watch. West Ham again in control, pushing towards the 18-yard line. People getting into the box as West Ham look to get that equaliser. Plenty of bodies back Newcastle. As Darlow comes out and gathers in another good take from Darlow. He's just done everything. He's done everything simple. Chris Smart says Wilson played well tonight. Newcastle's got a decent squad, says Ben. NUFC 390 asking when Carroll played last. When did he last play 90 minutes? As Sean Longstaff's getting ready to come on. Yeah.
This is where Bruce earns his corn, isn't it? This is his game management. Last 5 minutes. This is where we see when he makes his changes whether or not his squad's capable of understanding the changes and holding and getting the grips with them, with instructions that come on.
Go on.
Newcastle in with a chance here. Hendrick.
What a goal. Hendrick. Get in.
2-0.
There you go.
And that was a great bit of commentary by Steve Hasty. That was a great bit of commentary. This is where Bruce earns his corn, and what happens?
And bang.
We have a second goal, and it's Hendrick. He takes it. He takes one step. He takes one touch, and then he hits it into the top corner, past the flying West Ham keeper, and it's an absolutely great strike.
He's had a
what
great
a
second
goal!
half, hasn't he?
Come on.
He's had a great second half. He's compared to the first half where he was a little bit quiet. He's had a very, very good second half of the game, and we've done more on the right hand side than we did in the second half than we did certainly in the first. So we've had a much quieter scene in the second half from Lewis as well, which is interesting. We've certainly moved the ball around a lot more on the pitch than we expected, I think.
It's unbelievable to see the change in Newcastle United tonight. And like I keep saying, I must sound like a broken record, but these players haven't really played together.
Two new boys scoring on their debut.
Yeah. Now we wait Luis to score a third goal.
Come on, Alawi, calm down.
Hendrick scored. Oracles asking the question there. Andy Carroll now off. I didn't see who came on there, lads. I think it was Sean Longstaff. I presume it was. It was Sean Longstaff came on. Hendrick, what a great goal that was from Hendrick. And if you get a chance to see it, guys, brilliant. It's I know people do tend to say this when they're commentating, but it probably will be an early contender for goal of the month. Certainly not goal of the season, but goal of the month. It was a lovely finish. Very, very good. As he's impressed with Hendrick, Lewis and Wilson, all impressed. Paul Oxley, yes, in Ashley we trust, he says. Goodness, it's a classic. Well, it's Jack Daniels' time. Good goals, he says. Manchester United says Newcastle need to sign a centre-back like Dunk, and I can see them challenging for Europe. Thanks very much for that, mate.
Newcastle, it was a good move, that, mate, for the goal. It was a good move, one touch as well. There was a couple of players involved in the move, and it was a fine finish right in the top corner, Steve.
No, it was fantastic, mate. Absolutely.
Good football, wasn't it? Good football.
Yeah.
I think Mickey did well to keep a hold of it on the left-hand side as well to pass it off.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then he found the man really well as well in the box. Cut it through two West Ham players. Really well played there from Miggy.
SJ feels sorry for the West Ham right back, first tortured by ASM and now by Miggy. Yeah, that's the bonus of having a squad. Yeah. Of course, you can take one fast player off who's tiring and put another fast player on. West Ham have got a corner anyway. 89 minutes on the clock. West Ham take the corner. Hopefully Darlow can keep a clean sheet. He deserves it. Ball cleared only to the edge of the box. West Ham again try to whip the ball in. Rice. Ball's nipped in. Darlow again gets it, handles it well, kneels down, gets the ball, has a look up, and getting ready to see what's on the clock. Steve Bruce looking very happy, very composed on the sidelines, shouting a few instructions out as we find out what the referee's got on his watch, and it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes added time. It's always a bone of contention with fans in and around football stadiums, up and down the ground. I think we always got to remember that it's 30 seconds for each substitute. So there has been a few substitutes in this game. Probably be about right 5 minutes. I do sit with my dad when we go to the match, and my dad always has his stopwatch and always counts the substitutes. So usually we're fairly accurate with that. So yeah, I would say that's about right. But it's one of them things. It's just we all go 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Where's he got that from? But if you add the substitutes and add the injuries, referees are usually about right. West Ham again get the ball in, whip it across, but another clearance by Newcastle's back four. Miggy's on the run. Ball played out wide again. Flying down that left-hand side. The West Ham right back's sweating buckets here. Sean Longstaff gets the ball. Plays it back to Shelvey. Shelvey might not have done a great deal as far as putting the ball in, but he's composed. He stroked the ball around, and he settled the game down today. Settled the game down. There's no doubt about it. Again, another person who I've got to say I've been quite critical of over the years whilst he's been at Newcastle. He's done well today, Shelvey.
Hendricks for the free kicks. Why didn't Hendricks have a free kick?
Yeah.
Well, the free kicks, looking at that finish.
Getting asked about man of the match. We'll talk about that when the final whistle goes before we finish the broadcast today. Surely Steve won't have a celebratory bacon sarnie at this time of night. He can have whatever he wants if we can get this 3 points.
Free kick, surely.
Carroll man of the match for Russell. We'll talk. As I say, we'll all talk about that at the end of the game. 3 minutes left. 3 minutes of injury time left.
Luke Edwards will be making his way down to the dugout now, is he? Ready to run in and celebrate with Brucey?
He probably will be. Either that or he'll be in the stand sitting with Mike, asking him if it's his Twitter account, because he now knows it's not Steve Wraith.
We're telling everybody the Takeover was back on now.
Which one? The Henry Maurice one? Henry Maurice might be there. Manchester United says Shelvey in the right system can be a good player. Yeah, he's just been too inconsistent. If you watch him,
go on, Miggy. Go on, Miggy. Go on.
Miggy's got the ball. Go on. He's clear of the back. He's clear of the whole back four, and unfortunately, one defender manages to catch Miggy, puts the challenge in, and the ball goes out for a corner. That's a great run by Almiron. Just shows you the benefit, as I said, of having a player on the bench who can come on and create mayhem like that. Absolutely fantastic. Great ball. Control didn't let him down, but the defender just got in the way, and Almiron took the shot. To be honest, he was flagging a little bit by the time he got there. He'd run the full length of the pitch. And there's Sky just reshow one of Darlow's saves. I think everybody will be quite impressed when they see it. It was a great save. As we often know, sometimes a save's just as good as a goal in this game, and that certainly was. Newcastle with a corner. Shelvey not in any rush to go across and take it. Darlow's played well, says Michael Kelly. You're not wrong, mate. He's had a decent game. It's been a good team performance. Steve Harper will be happy with Darlow's work tonight. There'll be no doubt about that. Joe Linton holding the ball up in the corner. Shelvey took the corner. Joe Linton with a back heel. Actually beats it. Shelvey's through. He's got to put a ball in. He stops. He checks. Crosses the ball. Takes a deflection off the West Ham defender. West Ham could get out in the counter-attack here. Joe Linton was trying to hold the ball up there. He should have tried to keep a hold of it in that corner flag and waste a bit more time. Now, less than a minute on the clock now of stoppages. Wilson keeps up his goal scoring record against the Hammers. Yes, he has got a great goal scoring record. I think that's 9 goals he's got against West Ham now. Ball whipped in. Darlow again. Sapers houses.
Well done, Darlow.
That new haircut from Darlow has definitely made a difference. He looks streamlined in that pink strip. Good performance from Newcastle. Well played. Controlled the game from start to finish, says Paul Oxley.
If you look at West Ham, look at some of the money they spent on some of their players that are on the pitch or have been on the pitch tonight. It's crazy. They spent, 40 million on Philip Anderson, 40+ million on Sebastian Haller. Yarmolenko didn't come cheap either, and they look like a relegation team. They really do.
They do, and that's it. Newcastle United have got 3 points in the opening game of the season. West Ham United 0, Newcastle United 2. Callum Wilson and Hendrick getting the goal, 2-0. Well deserved, absolutely fantastic result. Well done, lads. Man of the match, says Dan Lawrence, was Wilson. Everyone's happy, lads. Let's talk about man of the match. Al Walid, first of all, happy with the performance, and who was your man of the match?
I'm very happy. As you said, the control from beginning until the end. Happy to see Wilson score. It's important for a striker to score in first game. I like Hendrick. For me, he's the man of the match. He's smart. I see his moves, very smart moves. He was doing as his first match, and so we expect more for him. Good cooperation also between the Shelby, Hayden, and Hendrick as well. I'm wondering what was the instruction from Steve Bruce to Jwilton. And I was trying to focus on Jwilton role. I still find nothing. I'm always surprised from the substitution of Steve Bruce, unexpected for me. And as I said, the man of the match is for me
is who?
Hendricks.
Hendricks for you. Okay. Hendrick gets 1 vote. Martin, over to you, mate. Your take on that game, and who was your man of the match?
Yeah, great start. I think the back four, the Shells came into it a bit more in the second half. Darlow was steady, did what he needed to. I thought the midfield, we bossed. I thought West Ham were really poor. I thought Hendrick, in particular, played really well. Up front, Wilson goal on the debut. Ran great channels, pulled defenders around. I thought Carroll linked up well. I thought Lewis was outstanding. Overlaps were good. In particular, both sides. I thought they were great. But for me, I think capping it off with a goal and all round, just probably pipping ahead of Wilson, I'm going to give it to Hendrick.
Okay, that's 2 for Hendrick. Spenny Mag. Spenny, you've gone mute. We can't hear you.
I'm going to go for the goalkeeper, Steve. Darlow for me, because I was really, really worried about him tonight. He's come through, and he's going to be the confidence of himself doing that performance.
Yeah, okay, mate. Steve Hasty, your take on tonight's game, and who was your man of the match?
I thought it was very, very controlled game. I thought we played very, very well. I thought we stroked the ball around. I thought we bossed the first half. I know we didn't hit the target, but I think we had 7 really, really good attempts, which, considering we're away from home, any attempts away from home are often a bonus when it comes to Newcastle United. I thought that Lewis in the first half, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Remind me a bit of Trent Alexander-Arnold in the way that he was able to get up and down the pitch. I thought Sam Maximum in the first half, the way that he took the ball, and he was willing to take a kicking because he had to, because that's the disappointing side of West Ham, who are usually ball players. They obviously had a game plan to take him out of the game. I thought Wilson for his first game scoring on his debut was brilliant, as with Hendrick, and. If I was going to give a man the match, I may even go to Carl Darlow, simply because he hasn't played a first team game in the Premier League for quite a while. Certainly starting in the start of the season, Been a lot of pressure on him, and I thought that he did everything right tonight.
Okay, that's two votes each. Two for Hendrick and two for Darlow. Pete, where are you going with your man of the match and your take on the game, mate, before we finish?
To be fair, it could be easy to go to Hendrick. Obviously, the goal and assist, I thought he had a fantastic debut. Like some others have said, Jamal Lewis was brilliant. And I actually thought Freddy Fernandez did really well, won everything. But for me, it's just fantastic to see a proven striker who's up front, who's a genuine danger for our club. So for me, to get his goal on his debut in his run-in today, Callum Wilson has to be man of the match for me. Brilliant performance.
Chris?
Yeah, I thought all the new boys covered themselves in glory. And like Pete said, I mean, it's just amazing to have a reliable, proven goal threat up front. So, man of the match, Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson for you as well. So that's two. Oh God, I feel like Simon Cowell on X Factor or Britain's Got Talent. I am going to stick with who I thought all along, and I personally, I can understand why you've gone for Darlow, lads. I can understand why you've gone for Hendricks, and I can understand why you've gone for Wilson, but I can't split those guys, and I'm going to go for Lewis because all the way through the game I thought Lewis was absolutely fantastic. But the good news is we've got Nathan back, so mine might not be the deciding vote. So I'm going to give it to Lewis. Nathan had problems with the internet, so Nathan, your man of the match, please, before we finish tonight.
We've gone to deadlock.
Yeah, I'll give it to Lewis as well. I think he's coming in and worked really hard, hasn't he? I think. I think we're doing well aware of like how Joe Linton got on last season, and he knows that all he's got to do is come in and work hard and apply himself, and he did that today. And you can't ask for more. And he got his reward for it, didn't he? So, yeah.
Yeah,
Wilson,
fantastic. So have you gone Wilson or Lewis?
Oh, Wilson. Sorry, yeah.
There we go then, lads. So Pete and Chris and Nathan, you've got it, lads. You went for Wilson as man of the match. Lads, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've done a 3-hour session there and followed it through the game. I think everybody's enjoyed it. Looking forward to getting Al Walid, Martin, Spenny Mag, Chris, Pete, if you're available, and Nathan on tomorrow afternoon, and we can let the dust settle and chew the fat at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and talk about this, and we can maybe even talk about the takeover.
I'd love it.
Great stuff. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. You have a good night, lads. Enjoy your beer tonight. It'll be a sweet one. Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Steve.